Tonight could be the end for a local legend turned national record setter. Timmy Chang, the all-time leading passer in big-time college football, takes the field for the final time in Honolulu. And as the sun sets on Chang's career at the University of Hawaii, he leaves behind a legacy and records for future quarterbacks to chase. Tonight, one more win will mean one more game before riding away into the sunset. Welcome to Paradise, a wet, windy version of Paradise tonight as ESPN2 College Football Saturday Primetime brings you Michigan State trying to finish at 500 in 2004 against Hawaii, trying to finish in a bowl for the second straight year here in Honolulu. If they win, they will play again in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. That'll be on Christmas Eve. Welcome, Dave Barnett, Bill Curry, David Dorey. If they lose, however, David, then this is it. This is the last time anyone here will get a chance to enjoy the most prolific passer in big-time college football history, Timmy Chang.
Well, Timmy Chang has the record. He's thrown for over 16,000 yards, had his biggest game of the season last week, an upset of Northwestern. He's going to have monster numbers to pull off an upset tonight. And more importantly, they get that extra game. And if Tim Chang gets an extra game, a bowl game here on the island, the legend of Tim Chang will continue to grow.
And Michigan State has the task of keeping the football away from Mr. Chang. Best done with their outstanding running attack. Second in the Big Ten with a quarterback, Drew Stanton, whom his coach calls a drunken sailor when he runs with the ball. But he does average 7.3 yards per carry. And Drew Stanton is the leader of this Michigan State squad. To finish 500, they've got to win this one tonight, and the best way to do that is to keep it on the ground and away from Timmy Chang.
Michigan State runs it about as well as anybody in the country. Hawaii must throw, and they must throw well in 30-mile-an-hour winds to win it tonight. Kickoff next.
It's the fajita grilled stuffed burrito from Taco Bell, loaded with authentic carne asada steak and grilled fajita vegetables, all wrapped in a flour tortilla and grilled to go.
Ooh, fajitas.
For sizzling fajita taste, think outside the bun.
And they're off. Gray ambition breaking well. Quick Sandy comes out high. It's Quick Sandy, and here comes... What the... Diagaze is stuck at the gate with no jockey.
Timex Perpetual Calendar with perfect date-keeping technology.
New Pepsi Holiday Spice is now on its way.
Whoops. Let's back her up, boys.
A blend of cola and spice. It'll be here just for the holidays.
No, the other way.
If it gets here at all.
Meet the straight line intersect. Just stick, and it automatically levels 3 laser lines for perfectly square results. So tame the tiles, sharpshoot the shelves, and conquer the collage. Intersect, another advanced electronic tool from Straight Line.
Now here is how you usually associate Hawaii weather. This is how it looked earlier today, but tonight it's a different story, and braving the elements on the field tonight at Aloha Stadium, we welcome Alex Flanagan.
Hi, Dave. We are seeing lots of wind down here tonight. Well, Michigan State head coach John L. Smith has made no bones about the fact that he did not want to make this trip to Hawaii. He's been very clear with his players that this is a business trip. It is not a vacation. He's even gone so far as to call it a penalty. Now, players has been on a very strict schedule with limited free time and multiple bed checks. John L. says he wants to make this trip as miserable as he can for his players. Dave, not the usual approach we're used to seeing coaches take when they come here to Hawaii. We'll see if it works tonight.
No, in fact, Bill, it's the only time we can ever recall a coach not treating this as the greatest thing that's ever happened to their program. What do you suppose is going through his mind even before he knew that they would be dealing with 30-mile-an-hour winds? Even so, it's about 40 degrees or so nicer than, say, East Lansing weather at the moment.
Well, what he did, he actually had his guys practicing at 11 p.m. inside the indoor facility in East Lansing with the temperature turned up as high as he could get it so that they'd be acclimated to the conditions here in Hawaii and hopefully get their body clocks on this time. Then he came over here, and I was at practice Thursday, and he was all in their face, and he was not happy. He coached it that way, and he's expecting an aggressive performance.
On the other hand, June Jones, at his 6th season as Hawaii head coach, as usual, has one of the top 4 passing attacks in the country. He has, maybe for the final time, a chance to enjoy the work of Timmy Chang, his all-time best coaching subject on the field tonight. And again, Hawaii must win to play again. It'll be on Christmas Eve against UAB, Alabama-Birmingham, already having nailed down the first bid awarded in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. 6-5 Warriors must finish 7-5 for this not to be Chang's final performance for the University of Hawaii. And Hawaii wins the toss. They have elected to receive the opening kick. Dave Rayner, powerful leg, has it teed up. And this is such a swirling wind, it's really going to be difficult from time to time to see who it benefits and who's going into it. Deep for Hawaii, Jason Ferguson emerging as a real threat. 7th in the WAC in kick return yardage this year. That one will roll out of bounds, very unlike Rayner. A flag on the very first kick will give Hawaii even better field position. Our referee.
Rule the ball, we placed on the 35-yard line. First down.
Frank White. And Chang and the Warriors. This time last year, he was dealing with being booed, being benched, and bouncing back. And did he ever? It was really a foregone conclusion that he would break Ty Detmer's record for the all-time career passing yardage. But to do it in style the way he has done this year, according to his coach, is really the most pleasing aspect of what he's accomplished. And out of the shotgun, right to work through the air, and right at 10 yards on his first pass. Bud Light starting lineup. Brewster, when he gets a chance, very dangerous runner. They run it very seldom, but Brewster right at about 6.5 yards per carry. Lots of receiving talent out there, especially Chad Owens. And up front, this is a group that's been shuffled quite a bit the last couple of weeks because of injuries, but Fa'avi moves back into the lineup at center, having missed the last 3 games with a bone bruise on his knee. So it's a little bit more their usual look with Satelli at left guard, Eaton moving from guard where he had been to tackle, and Moanoa at right guard. Short toss this time. And spinning across midfield, West Kali'ikipi, 260-pound tailback, brought down by Kevin Vickerson. And starting up front, big game for the Samoan. PEKO calls it his home game. He's 2,600 miles away from home, and this is as close as they get. The linebacking core, real story is the senior DORTCH, who missed really most of 2 seasons with a horrendous leg injury earlier in his career. And the secondary will definitely be challenged. That almost goes without saying, with Hayes, Smith, Harmon, and Maples. So completions to Jason Rivers and West Kali'ikipi to start the night for Timmy Chang. And on 2nd down at 4, again shot over the middle. This one tipped up and almost intercepted. So really, I think it's a pretty simple game plan tonight, David, for Hawaii. Keep the ball away from a Michigan State running attack that no one believes the Warrior defense has really a prayer of controlling tonight.
Yeah, and over the years with the run and shoot offense, that's been a knock on the run and shoot offense, that you don't keep the ball away from a ball possession offense on the other side of the field. So many passes, and when a team in the run and shoot scores, so we take a look at the original architect of the run and shoot offense, Mouse Davis. When you score, you usually score quickly, and you get the ball back in the hands of the opposition.
The 3rd down toss for the sideline is incomplete. Intended for Rivers, the WAC's 3rd leading receiver. Coverage over there by Jaron Hayes. And the Spartans allow only 1 first down before forcing the punt. And Akeem Shabai drops back deep for Michigan State.
One thing you'll notice is there'll be numerous throws like the one we just saw, in which it does not look like the quarterback and the wide receiver are timed up. The wide receivers have to interpret in this offense. The run and shoot involves a lot of decision making by receivers as they judge the coverage.
Kurt Milne plays into one. nicely, and this one will be fair caught at about the 8-yard line by Shabai. 46-yarder by Milne. Michigan State pinned deep in its own end as the Spartans get their offensive show going for the first time. And the sophomore, Drew Stanton, every bit as much a running threat as he is a passing threat. 2 state titles in high school, Harrison High, Farmington Hills, Michigan. His unavailability early in the season after injuring a knee in the Alamo Bowl last year, playing special teams, really told a great deal of the Michigan State story this year. Had they had him every game, they think there's no way they'd be 5-6. From his own end zone on the roll, a sliding attempt by Jeremy Scott, and he can't hang on at around the 30. The rest of the Bud Light starters for Michigan State. Teague going about 75%. He's had a bad case of the flu, and DeAndre Cobb and J.U. Colcrick will get a lot of work at running back. Trannon will play basketball once the football's finished up here with Brown, Scott, and Randall. And up front doing the blocking, Wheeler, Cook, Morris, Whitaker, and the best of that bunch, Sean Poole, senior from Flint, first team All Big Ten in his finale tonight. Probably better than expected. 30,000 plus they felt would be here. They're being heard. And the run to the 15-yard line by Cobb, the senior from Las Vegas. Hawaii's defense is not one that Michigan State should fear at all against the run. They're dead last nationally, in fact, against the run. So this group will be under the microscope tonight. Moe leads the linebackers. And in the secondary, Elamimian, one of the best in the country, certainly one of the best, making first-team all-WAC again, native of Nigeria. Looking for the corner, DeAndre Cobb, and they will mark him out, it would appear, right at the first down marker, at the 18.
One of the things June Jones emphasized in our meeting with him, if we can get these guys stopped a couple of times early, and they're inches from getting it done here, and it appears he will have the first down. This has not been a good tackling defense, and we just saw not getting off blocks as well as they might.
What Michigan State feared is the fact that the Hawaii that plays here in Honolulu is a completely different team than the one that goes on the road and gives up scores like 69-3 to Boise State. Juggling catch by the tight end Eric Knott, the Detroit senior, with his 18th grab of the year. 17 yards per catch. He's a tight end who is a deep threat, and in fact the best deep threat statistically on the offense, and this one will come back. Jason Randall, normally the starter, more of a run blocker, and Knott is a real weapon when Stanton goes to the air.
Holding on the offense, number 72. 10-yard, half the distance to the goal, remains first down.
And that is on the left tackle, Stephon Wheeler.
One thing we've seen early in this football game, the effect that this wind is going to have on both passers. And of course you have Timmy Chang throws the ball so well from the quarterback position, but Drew Stanton, pretty good thrower himself, 63% on the year, really underrated as a passer. And these balls are going to be affected throughout the night with the heavy winds.
I'm wondering about that 30-mile-an-hour forecast. On the give, DeAndre Cobb, and again a big gash through the middle into the secondary, brought down by Leonard Peters, the strong safety, the leading tackler for the Warriors, with his 101st stop of the year.
Nice blocking by this big offensive line. Good lead block by the H-back. And they got about half the yardage they needed. And that looks like more than 30, Dave. Yeah. I think that's what you were saying.
Wind warning flags are out. Second down and 9. Good news is the rain has stopped. It was coming down pretty hard half an hour before the opening kick. Shabai fighting and finally goes down. Carried the tackler about 30 yards on his back. Leonard Peters just refused to give in. Leading receiver a year ago, and the 26th time he's called on this year.
Leonard's making every tackle. We've got him down for 4 tackles already. I don't think we've had but about 6 plays.
Shabai makes it a 3rd and 3. Line of game is 29 in his first Michigan State possession of the night. Jeremy Scott went in motion. And on the option keeper, no chance for Stanton Berry. Stanton, the Spartans' second leading rusher, 611 yards, better than 7 yards per carry, but Tony Akpom rides him down.
David, he never thought about pitching that football. He had the pitch.
Well, and he's got the pitch back all the way. Stan's going to come out. He's going to come down the line. And he makes a decision, as you said early, Bill. You know, Stanton's running ability, you talk to the offensive coaches from Michigan State, his running ability really sets up all the weapons on this offense, including the running backs behind him. And on that play, not a great decision to eschew pitching that ball wide.
Timeout called by Hawaii, 10 minutes and 43 seconds. Each team has had a possession of the nation's leading punter, Brandon Fields, about to be called on with that to deal with.
Evening, boys. Looks like you fellas are having some kind of party.
No, sir. No party at all.
See, we've had reports of referees taking people's Bud Light and replacing it with Miller Lite.
Oh, that's so wrong.
That's absolutely. Yeah, it's bad. Listen, guys, I'm going to need to see a receipt for that Bud Light.
Jerry, you got that receipt? Yeah, receipt. Yeah, I got it right. Run!
Some people will do anything to get the great taste of Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here.
We got zebras on the run requesting backup.
Why can't you just be nice?
Because the world isn't nice.
Hunted by humans.
You're public enemy #1.
Hated by vampires. On Wednesday, he's going to need some new blood.
Who the hell are you people?
My father meant for us to help you.
Whistler's daughter.
Rookies.
Time for payback.
Blade Trinity. Rated R. Starts Wednesday.
This season, give the gift of John Madden and Dale Jarrett's holiday CD.
A whole lot of sacks, and it's only the first one.
A collection of 20 all-time classics.
Holidays are the pitch.
As only John and Dale can sing them.
North Pole position.
For a gift people will actually want, come in now to Outback Steakhouse and buy holiday gift certificates today.
Get a wireless laptop with technology designed for lightweight. Make sure it has Intel Centrino mobile technology built in.
Every night in home workshops, there are people creating. These are the people Dremel makes tools for, like the new 400 series XPR with new high-performance attachments and greater control. The Dremel XPR turns spare time into time well spent.
Scoreless in the first quarter. You know, you could say a number, and in the case of Timmy Chang, 16,268 yards. That is the up-to-date career passing total. Well, the number may be better to understand when it's illustrated. And a very low punt by Fields. Brought back by Chad Owens, maybe the best in the country. 4 touchdown returns this year. And the Spartans have him cornered and corralled and out of bounds at the 37. Here's another way to look at it. 16,000 plus passing yards. 13,796 feet, the height of Mauna Kea, tallest volcano in Hawaii. Or you can look at it this way. You can drive across the entire island of Molokai, or the 9 miles from here at Aloha Stadium to the most famous spot here on Oahu, Diamond Head.
Well, Bill, I tried to compute my yardage at UCLA, and it barely got me from campus down to Westwood Village. I think I made it down to the In-N-Out Burger.
9.2 miles in his career. Chang chased, lucky to get that one off, as the pressure came from TYRELL DORTCH, the bandit, outside linebacker. But the good thing for Chang is, if he's going out tonight, he's going to go out having been coached up by our own David Dorr.
Yeah, Timmy ended up doing the coaching, I think, for the better part of our session together.
We will enjoy some excerpts of the conversation you two had yesterday.
It's almost impossible to sack him. He's been sacked only once out of every 57 pass attempts this year. The offensive line is extremely well coached by Mike Cavanaugh. Does a great job with these guys.
Kaliki Kipi bounces off the first two tacklers, still ends up losing a yard. Finished off by the middle backer, Ronald Stanley.
You hear so much about the passing game here at Hawaii. But as you said earlier, Bill, they're very effective when they run the football. Kaliki Kipi, he averages about 5 yards a carry. And you have Brewster, 6.2 yards a carry. They've only had 152 attempts from the tailback position coming into this game, and yet they have close to 900 yards on the season.
Well, when their offense is perking the way they want it, they run and pass. They just throw it a whole lot more than they run. I knew I could say that.
Dust Devils all over the field. Conditions worsen. Going deep for Komine and way overthrown. Pretty well covered by the free safety, Jason Harmon. Outgoing senior from Ironton, Ohio. And the offensive ranks for Hawaii, first in the WAC and top 3 in the country with the pass, and dead last with the run. But it's not because they can't run the ball, Bill. It's because they choose not to run it very often.
That's right. And June says we throw the ball so much. If we're 50% completion, our offense works. Normal offense is not so. You got to have over 60.
They run it about 6 yards per carry, so they chose to feature that. It will be anywhere near last. Kyle Brown turns it upfield. Big return across the 40. 44 on the kick. Brown brings it back 20. And Stanton has much better field position to work with. Second time he takes command for the Spartans.
Stuart Scott and the gang recap the NFL weekend and get you ready for Monday Night Football on Monday Night Countdown, delivered by UPS, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
That for the kids?
Yeah, I just got him some sweaters.
I just got us all on the Verizon Wireless Family Share Plan with M. That way they can talk to their friends all they want. Good luck with that.
Good luck with this.
Sign up for the Family Share Plan and the whole family can make unlimited in-calls to each other and any other Verizon Wireless customer from within the America's Choice coverage area. Plus, buy one LG VX3200 for $19.99 and get up to 3 free.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
11 p.m. It's Albert and Ben. 2:10. What's up with your friend? It's 3:42. That girl rocks. She's got more skills than you. Now it's 5:38. Thoughts of McGriddles make my stomach quake. For bacon, eggs, and cheese on sweet griddle cakes. Only takes one hand to put them all in my base. McDonald's, I'm loving it. McGriddles, breakfast for you, bedtime snack for me.
The Sharp Aquos Liquid Crystal Television. Greater detail reveals all.
The Michigan State Spartans allowed out of their rooms and set free on the Waikiki Beach. Unlike the early warnings from John L. Smith, he didn't lock them up in their rooms all day. A floater battling in the wind to bring it down at the 33-yard line. Kyle Brown, right after his fine punt return, 26 yards on maybe the toughest pass he's ever had to track from Drew Stanton.
Now, Bill, the ballistics on this ball, the spiral, look how the ball comes apart on it.
I would call that unballisticated.
That was not a very good ball from Stanton, but sometimes ugly gets it done.
But you see what Dave Baldwin's doing, the offensive coordinator for Michigan State. He's crossing up Hawaii about throwing the football on rundowns.
On the roll right, would have been plenty of room had he chosen to keep it himself. Instead, a strike to Shabai. A game Shabai, the coaches look at as their most talented receiver, injury prone. Makes him a bit of an underachiever. 18 yards on that catch.
Now that was a lot better ball on the move.
Yep. You notice he was running to his right. When he made the poor throw, he was running to his left over here. But his receivers are really helping him with some big-time catches. They look like the passing team right now.
Not bothering the Spartans a bit. 1st and 10 to the 15. And hello, J.U. Polcrick. The redshirt freshman brought down by Ikaika Alama Francis. And let's check in below with Alex Flanagan.
Hey, Dave, you guys can see how windy it is down here. Well, there's big wind gusts. When that happens, there is all kinds of debris. I don't know how much you guys can see it from where you're at, but there are plastic bags. Just saw a set of balloons on the field, debris whirling all over the place, little dust devils, if you will, of debris kind of coming across the players. Might be a bit of a distraction. No way to clean it up with all this wind.
Nope, that's not going to happen. Flag on the play, and the indication against Michigan State will be declined. Bill, we've done, what, half a dozen games here. We've seen every type of condition there is, or so we thought. Lots of rain, lots of sunshine. We've seen it very hot. This is as cool as it's been, almost jacket weather in Honolulu, but we've never seen wind conditions like this.
We had it almost like this in '97, though. Notre Dame was here. It was almost like this.
On second down, looking left, throwing back right, wide open, not, and the tight end leaps to the end zone for a spectacular touchdown.
What a marvelous job of leadership by the guy that John L. Smith says is the only real leader on this football team, quarterback Drew Stanton.
Now, and the movement by Stanton really set up this play. He sold the roll out to the left. On the right side, got his big tight end Knott lined up. He just snuck out into the flat. Great execution from quarterback to tight end.
And that means that Michigan State's now 31 out of 36 scores in the red zone, and that's a darn good record. They haven't done as well touchdown-wise, but they got that touch.
Barnes' all-time leading scorer, Rayner, now 72 straight point after attempts. Eric Knott worth 2 more looks. Terrifically well-designed play, and you can't finish it off in more spectacular fashion than did the senior from Detroit. 7-0 Spartans.
Cable has revolutionized the way you watch TV. Chocolate can hardly say the same. Chocolate equals acne. Cable equals entertainment. All chocolate can do to make things interesting is throw in some nuts or raisins, maybe a bit of nougat or caramel. But try using that chocolate bar to order movies on demand or watch local sports in high def. Nougat can't help you there. Cable chocolate. Cable chocolate.
Find out all the ways the cable is better at only Cable can.
Don't let
You need to know syndrome in
keep
women.
blood caplets
Men
together.
healthy enough to now you can be
New and improved. Ask your doctor. Side effects insomnia.
not for clinically proven to break free.
Are you buying this? Vague promises, slick commercials, and more than $4 billion spent in just 1 year to advertise brand name prescription drugs. That's one big reason why brand names are more expensive than their generic equivalents. Don't be fooled. Understand healthcare costs. Choose to make a difference.
Tony had a great idea. Wendell knew exactly how to sell it. And Lynette was great at counting the beans. And when the beans grew and grew and grew, they knew they needed a bank that cared as much about their business as they did. And that's how Tony, Wendell, and Lynette discovered American Savings Bank's Banking for Business, where a business of any size feels like the bank's most important account. American Savings Bank, helping Hawaii's businesses grow.
We can help.
Well, apparently it's tougher to throw in snow than it is wind. Drew Stanton on the touchdown drive, 3 for 3, 59 yards, and the 15-yarder to not to finish it off. 7-0 Michigan State with 8:21 in the first quarter. And look for that to happen 8 or 10 times tonight. In fact, I would think we'll have to have a holder called in right from the get-go, not even mess with trying to keep it on the tee by itself. Numbers on the drive took them only 4 plays and barely over a minute to go 59 yards.
Yeah, you'd think coming into this game that this weather and the wind would benefit Michigan State, the team that really moves it on the ground. But, Bill, they've come out, and Michigan State's throwing it all over the park.
Yeah, they're throwing unballisticated balls, but that last one had a nice spin, didn't it?
That was a tight ball.
So with the aid of Kyle Brown as a holder, this kick returnable from the 3. Ferguson, who they hope is the Chad Owens of the future, 21 on the return. Let's look at the score again.
A great execution. Stan's going to come out on the move, and watch Knott here. He's going to get lost on the block and then sneak out in the flat, Bill.
That's right, and Knott has not been John L. Smith's favorite guy. They've had a few differences with off-the-field activities, but this is a sure way to win your way back into the good graces of the coaching staff by performing on the field.
And right here, Knott's going to really sell it and then come inside. And Stanton, with his movement to the left, really established some movement from the linebackers and the secondary for Hawaii.
And Landon Kafensis has left a bit of his clothing on the field. It's blowing around with the paper.
Chad Simon, meanwhile, being tended to, the injured Spartan. Senior from Saginaw, Michigan, helped up.
That's one of the weirdest feelings in football. When you think you're going to collide with a great big guy, Kafensis is coming across there. He's going to hit Knott. You try to stop him at the 3-yard line, and you throw yourself, and he just hurdles you. Yeah, That's a weird feeling. With the big guy's a heck of an athlete.
Well, Bill, you don't expect a 6'3", 250-pounder to, pull a 32, 34-inch vertical on you.
That's what he did. It was impressive.
Timmy Chang so far outdone by Stanton, who is 4 for 5, 65 yards in a score. Chang 2 for 6, just 17 yards. And those 2 completions were on the first 2 snaps by his Warriors. Now Michael Brewster goes to work. And met hard after a gain of 3. Hawaii's rushing leader, senior from Houston, tackled by Greg Cooper.
I'll tell you this, David. John L. was worried about his guys coming out and playing with intensity. He's not worried about that anymore.
No.
Both sides of the ball, they're getting after it.
They are. They're winning the battle up front, and there's Hawaii implementing that run-and-shoot attack early, but this defensive front for Michigan State has shown up to play.
June Jones with the call, ready on a 2nd and a long 5. With 3 wideouts on the near side. And another give to Brewster. Open side left, plenty of room. First down to the 40. Good call against the Spartan alignment, and Jaron Hayes with the tackle, a gain of 12 for Brewster.
I keep hearing that this coach, Mike Cavanaugh, the offensive line coach, does a good job. He's had 5 players drafted in the last 5 years. You can see why. Yes, Michigan State's very aggressive. This time the O-line took advantage of the aggressiveness. Tala Esera, the left tackle, making the key block.
So 1st and 10, courtesy the runs by Brewster, formerly a walk-on at Tennessee. Transferred here, and in his career has averaged 6.4 yards per carry. This time slips for a loss of about 5 after the catch made on the swing pass. He'd have been better off dropping it. Jason Harmon quickly jumping right there on Brewster. And it's easy to spot DOMATA PEKO.
PEKO, yeah. You know what he says his biggest problem is? Split ends. He said, I have split ends.
Well, obviously. Good shot this.
He needs some, what is it, conditioner that you put on
you
here?
put a little conditioner, and the 30-mile-an-hour winds don't help a lot either.
He has 30 friends and relatives who have made the 5.5-hour trip, some 2,600 miles from Pongo Pongo, American Samoa. It's not like going coast to coast in the continental U.S., but that's as close as he will get to a home game. Intended for Gerald Welch, he juggles and drops. And 3rd and 14 facing Chang.
Now, this run-and-shoot offense has been around for a long time. June Jones, way back in the mid-'70s, was quarterback at Portland State, and really the inaugural teams in the run-and-shoot. And what the run-and-shoot is about is 4 wide receivers, 2 slots, 2 wide receivers on the outside, and the wide receivers go out in the secondary and they read the secondary along with the quarterback after the snap of the football. It can be very tough for a secondary to see for the first time in a season.
15 years ago, David, it looked like it might take over college football, and that never really happened. As another incompletion intended for Welch at midfield. Why do you think it for 3-4 years, especially as run by the University of Houston, took over the country and then fell back?
Well, and you look at the effectiveness that June Jones has had, that has with this run and shoot offense over the last 5-6 seasons. And I think the big knock on it is you cannot possess the football. You can't work the clock, and you have trouble keeping your defense off the field. But I'll tell you one thing on the other side of the coin, there's been some great success with this offense at the college and pro level.
Flag is down on the punt by Milne. No chance for Shabai on the return. But the marker happened right at the time of the snap. Punt goes 36. And against Hawaii.
I mean, Bill, we look back and remember the success that Warren Moon had with the Houston Oilers,
yeah.
Jim Kelly with the Houston Gamblers.
On the kicking team, number 45, that penalty is refused. First down.
TJ Moy, guilty party. Michigan State likes it where they have it. Up 7-0. And they have it at their 28 when we return to Honolulu.
In the mood for something grilled? Stouffer's makes it easy with their succulent new grilled chicken entrees. A grilled herb-rubbed chicken breast seared over an open flame to seal in its juices and served with tender linguine and a medley of crisp vegetables tossed in a light tomato herb sauce. As for your grill, put it on ice. Stouffer's new grilled herb chicken, one of 4 new grilled chicken entrees from Stouffer's.
Surviving cancer is still the biggest victory of my life, and I did it with the help of 3 Bristol-Myers Squibb medicines.
Today, Bristol-Myers Squibb researchers are fighting our most serious diseases. Their life-saving medicines have turned many cancer patients into cancer survivors. Medicines for AIDS, heart disease, and serious mental illness reflect their commitment to research and to extending and enhancing human life.
I'm living proof of that. Hope, triumph, and the miracle of medicine. Bristol-Myers Squibb Company.
Everyone's favorite thieves are back.
What do y'all do?
My husband and I, he's retired.
And they're doing a number on Europe.
Next time I see you, I'm arresting you.
Well, you better. Ocean's 12, rated PG-13.
I wanted popcorn chicken. I wanted crispy strips.
I wanted original recipe.
The KFC Variety Bucket, a 3-in-1 combo of KFC favorites, all for just $9.99.
Chicken Capital USA. A number we did not expect to see tonight. Michigan State outpassing Hawaii 65-13. Total yardage 87-30 Spartans. Last time they had it, 4 plays and a little over a minute to make it 7-0. They take over 1st and 10 at their 28. And the run by Cobb, who got the start for the flu-ridden Jason Teague tonight. Cobb, senior from Las Vegas. Off tackle for about 3.
We met with Hawaii defensive coordinator George Lumpkin, and we asked him the key to tonight's football game. He said, hey, you better have enough people in the box against Michigan State. And I think that Michigan State has done a good job here early of turning that against Hawaii. They've come out throwing the football, and Stanton's been very effective.
And John L. Smith's offense has some elements of the run and shoot theory, does it not?
Absolutely.
2nd and 6, play fake. Stanton will keep and get nothing. Met hard head on by Watson Ho'uhule, the middle linebacker.
That was a heck of a open field tackle against a good runner.
Well, as accurate as Stanton is with his arm, equally lethal with his legs, averaging 7.3 yards per carry as Michigan State's 2nd leading rusher. 611 yards coming into tonight. And the Hoosiers and the Illini, the Badgers, lots of victims can testify to his dangerous legs throughout the Big Ten. A marker and I think a whistle before that snap as the pass was intended for Jason Randall.
False start on the offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
And that's on the right tackle. First team All Big Ten, Sean Poole.
Well, Bill, Dave, you mentioned some aspects of the run and shoot offense that are incorporated into Michigan State's offense, and we all remember John L. Smith at Louisville. 4 wides, 5 wides, spreading things out, but you won't see Tim Chang run the football like Drew Stanton does.
With the mark off, a 3rd and 11. Over the middle and a crowd and brought in past midfield by Aaron Alexander at the Hawaii 48. Win what win, says Drew Stanton. A strike of 46 yards.
Now, this is a beautiful ball in these kinds of conditions. A half roll to the left, gets that right foot planted, and he delivers that ball on a line. That's a corner route, and he places that ball right on the spot.
And for you offensive line people, that was great protection. Sprint protection. Everybody reaching to the outside.
Look at this. Wide open left side on the naked boot. And after the 25-yard completion, they will mark him out around the 30 and a skirmish now on the Michigan State sideline, where two of the Warrior tacklers are led away before it gets nasty. 17-yard keeper by Stanton. And Alex, I hope you're not anywhere near that.
I'm away from it, Dave. Hey, listen, Drew Stanton is only throwing with his shoulder 85 to 90%. May require surgery after the season. Stanton separated his shoulder at the end of October and will decide after this game whether he should have surgery. Michigan State is counting on a healthy Stanton though next season. Coaches, as you mentioned early, Dave, said that him missing spring and preseason football was largely responsible for their slow start to the season, so they can't afford to not have him healthy next season, Dave.
Injured entering fall camp. Injured at the end of last year, and more flags and whistles right on the snap.
False start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
William Whitaker, right guard this time. Now this a play ago with Kenny Patton being driven out along that Michigan State sideline, and a little extra laid on him by Matt Trannon.
I've heard about finishing blocks before, but that's, that's a little excessive.
That's very excessive. No place for that in football. Getting the guys back over a bench.
J.U. Colcrick has checked in. And Colcrick into the secondary. On a 1st and 15, brought down by Lamar Broadway. He gets 10 of the 15. Colcrick, redshirt freshman from Findlay Lake, New York.
The coaches say Colcrick's the most physical of the backs that they've got. I'm just really impressed with the game plan, David. This is really good execution. Dave Baldwin put together a plan that has caught Hawaii off guard, I believe, with the throwing to set up the run. They have just the opposite of what they normally do.
They have them on roller skates right now.
Defensive front hoping to fool the Spartans, and they come through this time, swarming Colcrick. First man there again, Ho'ohuli, the middle backer.
Ho'ohuli is the guy that made the open field hit on Stanton 2 or 3 plays ago. He's having a heck of a football game. Nice job up front to contain and hold the line of scrimmage so that the linebacker can make the penetration and make the hit in the backfield. That's what Hawaii's going to have to do consistently.
Yeah, he's filled in for a featured performer, Akaika Hernan, and done a pretty good job. You know, Watson's a journeyman, but he stepped in and really stepped up his game.
So COBB returns in the backfield after a loss of 2. It's 3rd and 7. And they set up the screen for COBB. COBB inside the 20. And to the 18, first down, Michigan State. Even at a 3rd and long, the Hawaii defense can't close the deal, and 10 yards on the swing pass.
Yeah, left tackle Gordon Nabilski really occupies his man on the outside and gives Stanton a little bit of a lane to deliver the football. And then a nice job by COBB to do the rest. Impressive bit of running after the catch.
COBB held out of contact because of the shoulder problem in practices this week. Teague had the flu problem. It's good to be as deep as the Spartans aren't running back. Already using all 3. And COBB turning the corner, helmet-to-helmet collision, drives his way inside the 10. He took on Kenny Patton, and they exchanged face mask paint. Got about 8 yards before this hit. Listen.
Head's inside that helmet, it sounds a whole lot louder than that.
That was plenty loud. That's as loud as I've ever heard that when they turn up the mics.
And Patton might have gotten the best of that exchange.
COBB earns a playoff. He's replaced by Jason Teague, 2nd and 2. During 2 minutes, first quarter dominated by Michigan State, but they continue to be their own worst enemies with 5-yard nickel and dime penalties.
False start.
Yeah, take your pick, right tackle or tight end. They both move.
Cool and Randall.
This is a very loud stadium. It's not as big as a lot of others, but the enthusiasm, they just can't hear the snap count.
They're going to be delighted with this crowd. This may be in the 40,000 range.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
about 10,000 more than they expected.
And they're in it. They're into it.
And you also have the wind whistling in and out of your ear holes combined with that crowd noise, and it can be a bit distracting for a big offensive lineman.
That is the 3rd procedure penalty on this drive, about to have its 9th snap. And they run the reverse. Jeremy Scott, another marker down as Scott reaches inside the 10-yard line, where Leonard Peters is up for the strong safety tackle.
Yeah, I think that might have been Kyle Cook. And he certainly took his defensive responsibility to the ground.
Yet another mark-off on Michigan State. Illegal block. We're going to hear a lot, apparently, from Frank White tonight, our referee.
Nice job by Lamar Broadway, number 22. Staying at home.
Use some hands on the offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Remains 2nd down.
The left guard, Kyle Cook, they're taking turns, and I think all 5 offensive linemen now have been called for a penalty. Well, maybe not the center, Chris Morris, everybody else.
Well, and here he is right here, and he's going to take his defender to the ground.
Yeah, that's Lamar Broadway, who did a nice job of staying where he was supposed to be. He was supposed to play the reverse, and he drew the foul.
It looked like a pretty solid block to me out on the perimeter.
At some point, the Hawaii defense has got to take advantage of all this help. 2nd and 14, they run Teague. Teague with the cutback is inside the 5. No flags for a change, and it's 1st and goal, Spartans at the 3.
We heard June Jones compliment John L. Smith and his offensive package. He said they have a marvelous offensive scheme, and here's a page out of June Jones's playbook. The jailbreak screen, he loves to call it, but so does John L.
Yeah, great block on the outside by Randall, the 3rd tight end for Michigan State.
Falkrick powers his way in. Touchdown. 14-0 Michigan State. With the point by Rayner about to come. A dominant Spartan first quarter. And the big 235-pound native of Liberia, Falkrick, doing the honors from about 2.5 yards out. Boy, with all the damage they did to themselves with mark-offs, Michigan State still overpowers the Hawaii defense for the 2nd straight possession. And they have outgained the Warriors 185-30. There's 73 straight point after. Successfully kicked by Rayner. 14-0 it is with 1:31 in the quarter.
Well, Bill, I think that Michigan State has done a terrific job with misdirection early in this football game, not escaping out into the flat on the first touchdown, the end around. They come back with a screen pass, fake the screen to the right, come back to the left, pick up the big first down inside the 5. Michigan State is using the aggressiveness of the Hawaii defenders against Hawaii.
And then when they got inside the 5, they did something that has given Hawaii trouble all year. Watch them pop out of the huddle, quickly run to the line of scrimmage, and snap the ball on a quick count. The Hawaii players are barely in their stances when the ball is snapped. They aren't ready to take the charge of the offense, and the touchdown by Falkrick is a walk-in. Really good offensive execution from the Michigan State unit. And I think Coach Smith got his desire. He got the attention of his men, and they're here to win a game and not to mess around.
I got a terrific halftime piece coming up about Falkrick and his upbringing in Africa. Worth sticking around for. College football is about the least challenging thing he's had to deal with in his life. So 14-0 Michigan State. Little 5-5 return man, Jason Ferguson, cannot find an alley, and he's brought down to the 13-yard line. Sunday night, Reese Davis, Trev Alberts, Mark May, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit break down all the bowl games, including the BCS game on the College Game Day Bowl Selection Special presented by Outback Steakhouse at 6 Eastern, 1 Hawaii time. One more question to be answered, and that is who will play Alabama-Birmingham here on Christmas Eve in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. Won by Hawaii over the University of Houston last year in memorable triple overtime fashion. Hawaii must win this one to get back. A loss leaves them 6-6 and bowlless. Going deep, overthrown. Finally, with a man running free to Timmy Chang, Gerald Welch, and Timmy Chang cannot find his rhythm here in the first quarter.
Well, we talked to the defensive coaching staff for Michigan State, and they said Timmy Chang is not good on the run throwing the football. And if you get pressure in the pocket, you're going to force Timmy Chang to move. I think that's created some problems for him early in this football game.
And what we can see from that package that we just watched is that the protection is breaking down. The O-line's struggling. They've had a couple of guys that have been injured that have just gotten back. Ka'avi, the center's one of them. He got beat very quickly on one of those shots. Kevin Vickerson, number 91, in on the quarterback.
This time, with time, and a strike, and a first down at the 26-yard line to Welch.
Well, that's Timmy Chang for you right there. Ball comes out quickly, sitting in the shotgun, and throws the ball with deadly accuracy. And Bill, so important to throw a tight spiral in these winds. And both of these quarterbacks have exhibited the ability to spin the ball through the wind here early this evening.
I think Timmy Chang throws in it a lot because they practice in these conditions, and there's always some kind of wind when you're this close to the ocean.
But tonight, even for Hawaii standards, is well above the norm. Little swing pass, and Kalihifi gets maybe two. Quick reaction by TYRELL DORTCH.
I think the fact that TYRELL DORTCH was a running back for most of his life, and he was a very highly recruited running back before he had the serious injury and was asked to move to defense. He feels things and smells things out because he was over there on the other side of the ball. He was right on the money that time.
Their second leading rusher last year, back to defense this year. He had a medical redshirt year in 2002 because in October of 2001, one of the most horrific leg injuries you'll ever see in football. 2 broken bones in his right leg, 2 surgeries. He was laid up in the hospital in Madison, Wisconsin, 16 days before he could finally make his way home. And Chad Owens finally gets in some first quarter action. His first catch, about 9 yards. But Dortch injured so severely that the doctors shot him up with morphine right there on the field. It was so obvious the agony he was in. There was one of the trainers, personnel for Wisconsin, trying to tell the doctor, you're not licensed to do that in this state. And the doctor said, I see misery and I'm going to take care of it, license or no. And Dortch has taken care of an amazing comeback. Michigan State is taking care of Hawaii.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship coming in March.
Wendy's founder, Dave Thomas, knew that everyone needed a little excitement now and then. So Wendy's delicious Wild Mountain combos with Colby Jack cheese, bacon, and our own hot and smoky pepper sauce are back. So go wild at Wendy's. Dave's way.
And they're off. Gray Ambition breaking well. Quick Sandy comes out high. It's Quick Sandy, and here comes... What the... Diagaze is stuck at the gate with no jockey.
Timex Perpetual Calendar with perfect date-keeping technology.
Somewhere, there's a man accessing sensitive information by way of a fingerprint, while the security team closely monitors the ship's cargo, helping to keep our ports safer. And a dad checks on his business from his son's baseball game. What do all these people have in common? They rely on America's #1 security company, ADT. Always there.
Kodiak 450 automatic 4x4 from Yamaha.
get a $400 Warn winch for just $69.95 on select models.
This is Greg. Remember we talked about him? I think he likes me. Ow!
Ow! Fucker!
Cover your nose. You're terrifying him.
Tell the gang how you lost your virginity to Isabel. He was 19, a late bloomer. We were relieved.
Listen, don't let Moses go in there. They have a cat.
No! Don't do it. Moses!
Meet the Fockers.
The cat can flush.
Rated PG-13. Starts December 22nd.
Every day printer companies say they can help us print cheaper.
Why don't they show us how to print less?
Less.
Print less. Printer companies don't help people print less.
That's an oxymoron.
Very complicated.
One company will help you print less. Lexmark. We've designed smarter ways for the world's biggest businesses to print, move, and manage information. Go to lexmark.com and see how we can help yours uncomplicated.
Back in Honolulu for the second quarter, 14-0 Michigan State. You would think it was Drew Stanton who holds all the passing records based on the first quarter, and not Timmy Chang. But David, you got to spend some time with him. What were your impressions with the up-close contact you had with him?
Well, before I visited with him, I knew it was Timmy Chang's record, throwing for over 16,000 yards, #1 passer all-time in the NCAA. And when I was done, I realized it was Hawaii's record. I mean, this is really part of the island, the state of Hawaii, and I think he's allowed everyone on the island to share in that record.
Well, I think we've seen some of the evidence of your coaching out here tonight.
Well, if there's going to be evidence, it needs to heat up a little bit here.
6 of 13, 36 yards. On 3rd and 1, they run the beaten 260-pound tailback, and Kali'ikipi slams his way for plenty more than the one he needed.
I was standing at practice with Mouse Davis, one of my favorite folks, and one of the legendary coaches, and I watched this guy, and I said, you know what, I don't think I would tackle him. If he was coming at me, I don't believe I could make myself do it. Jason Harmon just found out about it, but Jason wasn't scared. He stuck his nose in there.
Gets that pad level down. It looks like the front fender of a Jeep coming at you.
Gracious.
Senior from Waianae, Hawaii, transfer from Utah's Dixie College. Throw underneath, Jason Rivers. Maybe one. We said David visiting yesterday with Timmy Chang, and he enjoyed reminiscing about the record.
You know, Tim, there have been a lot of great players that have played Division I football over the years at the quarterback position, and you're going to emerge as the #1 all-time passer in passing yards. What does that record mean to you?
It means a lot, you know, but to be honest with you, I really didn't get to really think about it and set it in right now, you know. Of course, we want to keep our season as long as it can go, and I've been thinking about Michigan State this whole week, and I'm sure after, when it's said and done, you know, it's going to mean something real special to me.
And a flag on Kevin Dickerson. So good for Timmy to not only have that record, but be able to tell his grandkids he once threw balls with David Norrie.
Yeah, right. They're going to say, David who?
And is your elbow okay?
In fact, Timmy Chang said that yesterday when I met him. He said, David who?
do you have rotator cuff problems?
Yeah, in both shoulders, Bill.
Don't let people tape you throwing the ball anymore, David.
I would have been throwing left-handed if I didn't have problems with my left shoulder.
That's great, though. He's got humility. That's what stands out to me.
He is a class act, and you can spend about 10-15 minutes with him, and you know what a meeting is.
On 2nd and 4, well protected, and throws that one in the neighborhood of Rivers. That's one of those where the run and shoot sometimes can make it look like everybody's confused. Well, Chang also reminisced about the experience of being benched last year.
It helped me out. You know, it made me realize, you know, how important this game is to me, and you know how precious it is, and you know, in any moment you can lose it. And I enjoy playing it at a competitive level, so you know, kind of woke me up, gave me another perspective.
Bill, any players you ever benched come back and thank you for the experience you gave them, for the perspective you allowed? Owens, first down, 43-yard line of the Spartans.
Well, actually, they have, and it takes a special guy to understand when the coach does something like that. And June Jones says, I just had to get his attention. He was just not functioning like the real Timmy Chang. And for Timmy to say, I actually love my coach, and I appreciate the fact that he woke me up, and then to say it in such a meaningful way to David Norrie, I think speaks volumes about both the coach and the player.
Well, we were here while that was going on, and to hear a local product, what he had meant to the program, get booed by his hometown fans was just really unpleasant, unexpected, difficult to watch and experience just as an onlooker, as Komine hauls that in front of Roderick Maples in. But Chang persevered, came through, and reacted, as he said, exactly the way June Jones hoped he would, with a different perspective, not putting so much pressure on every single snap, every single throw. And as everyone expected, he sure enough broke the record, and Jones thinks he will put it out where no one will ever challenge it again, for a couple of reasons. Hawaii, over his career, has played 8-9 extra games over his 4 years, between bowl games, between 12-game seasons, 13, 14-game seasons. He doesn't think there's going to be another quarterback who gets the number of games that Chang has had to set the record. Well, what is next for Timmy Chang?
Are you looking forward to the offseason and moving on to some opportunities at the pro level?
Definitely. As a child, my dream was to become a professional athlete, and it didn't matter what sport it was. I just wanted to compete and be out there. But you know, Hawaii gave me that dream opportunity, and you know, I'm just anxious to take it. Sad to leave here in Hawaii, but you know, anxious to take the next step.
And sad to watch that play on 3rd and 2 blown up by Vickerson. All over Kaliikipi before he had a chance, and Hawaii's best penetration so far ends at the 38.
Kevin Vickerson's having a heck of a night. We've got the big guy for 4 tackles. Derek Fa'avi, who's been out injured, the normally fine offensive center, is really struggling trying to block Vickerson. Vickerson's been in the quarterback's face. He's making plays in the running game. They're going to go for it.
This is 4th and 5. Only 4 times in 13 tries as Hawaii converted a 4th down. Owens slammed as he reaches behind him and can't bring it in. And Greg Cooper absolutely blasted Chad Owens.
Tim Chang did not help his wide receiver out on this play, and Cooper's going to deliver a nice hit. We'll be right back.
I mean, I used to date these guys, and I wonder, why doesn't this feel right? You know, why isn't he the one? And then I met Ben. You know, it's really nice when you realize you don't have to compromise. I mean, not to compare my man to a car, but I mean, that's why I bought a Saturn.
The 2005 Saturn Ion, redesigned, uncompromised. Now with 5 years, 60,000-mile extended vehicle coverage or a $1,000 allowance.
When Yamaha set out to build the world's ultimate off-road vehicle, it had to have the greatest ground clearance. Jack! Independent front and rear suspension. Jack! Toughness.
He's tough.
And of course, seating for 2. The Rhino 660 4-wheel drive from Yamaha.
Hello, children. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house. T.O.'s the best receiver in the NFL. I know that don't rhyme, but y'all know it's true. And out on the hardwood, what else do we know? When Ben Wallace jams it, you must fear the throw. Check out that slap shot, Martin, St. Louis. While Josh Childress is driving and popping the 3. With me up in Philly, the Eagles take flight. 'Tis a season for giving, but receiving's all right.
This season, give ESPN 2K5 video games, rated E for everyone.
Great seats. Just one more thing to love about Outback, where you can enjoy our golden boomerang shrimp. Outback Steakhouse.
Meet the straight line intersect. Just stick.
and it automatically levels 3 laser lines for perfectly square results. So tame the tiles, sharpshoot the shelves, and conquer the collage. Intersect, another advanced electronic tool from Straightline.
It's time for our Taco Bell update. Let's take a look at the BCS Bowl scenarios. First in the Rose Bowl, Michigan, Texas. We're now saying is the projected matchup. That would assume that Texas leaps over a California team that did not blow away Southern Miss earlier tonight. Utah, Pittsburgh in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Auburn, Virginia Tech in the Nokia Sugar Bowl. And USC and Oklahoma both took care of their business today and would appear to be headed for the FedEx Orange Bowl.
Guys, I think the best team in the country is not in the national title game.
DeAndre Cobb for about 1. So that, I would say, is the headline of the night because USC and Oklahoma did as expected. Let's look at our Yamaha game track. 7-0 on the 15-yard Eric Knott catch and leap. And then on the very next drive, 11 plays, 72 yards, final 2 taken care of by J.U. Colquitt. And that's where we are. 11 and a half minutes, second quarter, second down and 9. And Stanton going deep, wide open. Terry Love stumbles at the 17 on his way to 20-0 Spartans.
But that's about the only mistake Michigan State's made on offense tonight. My goodness.
Now, this is an arm fake. This is an outside move. Watch the arm fake by Stanton. Holds the safety with the fake to the left side and then throws a perfect ball. There's the move on the outside. Terry Love really set up that pattern on the outside, utilized the arm fake by Stanton.
Turf monster got him.
Just ate him up.
Reached up and grabbed his ankle. Except that's not turf.
How about the night Stanton's having from the quarterback position? Unofficially 8 for 9 in winds gusting up to about 35, 40 miles per hour.
Well, I just think the offensive game plan that Dave Baldwin and John L. Smith put together was just outstanding.
Sensational.
So 45 yards on the catch and run before the stumble by Terry Love. Clock issues now being discussed by Frank White, the referee. Michigan State averaging 10 yards per snap. 7 yards per play, better than Hawaii.
Well, we bragged on the offensive line for Hawaii, and they're struggling tonight. We need to brag on the big guys for Michigan State and Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach there. What a fine job they're doing, knocking people off the ball, protecting their passer. But David, I think what's been really impressive about the way the ball's being thrown is it's thrown from all different places.
All right, now we just showed you from our crack researcher, Brad Edwards, who knows everything there is to know about the BCS, all the different formulas that go into it, all the different scenarios. He projects that based on Cal's performance, even though they won at Southern Miss tonight, that Texas will jump over them. They needed like 3 voters in the AP poll to change their minds. And his projection is, again, he expects that to happen for Texas to jump over Cal, get the 4th spot in the BCS rankings, which ensures they will get a bowl bid somewhere. And in that case, they would take what would be otherwise the Pac-10 spot in the Rose and take on Michigan. That would be the headline of the day with no upsets involving USC or Oklahoma or Auburn. Auburn would go 12-0 and not have a chance to play for the national championship, and that would be headline number 2.
Well, and again, guys, I think the best team in the country is Auburn right now, the most complete team. I've said it down the stretch, and Auburn's not going to get to play in the national title game. I know that John L. Smith is going to vote Auburn number 1. He's been voting him number 2 into this final week. John L. Smith has made up his mind he's going to vote Auburn in the next bowl, so you never know.
Well, I'm going to shock you, David. I agree with you. I absolutely agree. I've thought Auburn was the best team from about mid-season. They just have played lights out. They've done everything that's been asked of them. They've won going away against good competition.
Clock's been fixed. Back to work. Trannon swarmed at the 16. The 6'6", 217-pound junior from Flint, who has told Alex Flanagan he will play basketball again for Tom Izzo's crew, and they need him based on what happened to them today against George Washington. Gave up 96 points. Very unlike the Spartans.
If I know Tom Izzo, there's going to be some extra practice and maybe some extra running after that defensive performance.
Oh, he'll get out the shoulder pads and the helmets, and they'll do all their football drills.
Some of those fun rebounding drills.
Second down, 9. Knott goes in motion. And Stanton reverses field. Throw on the run is complete inside the 1-yard line. Brought in by Jeremy Scott, who I don't believe was the intended target.
Stanton is now 9 out of 10 unofficially, 3 for 3 inside 15 yards, 6 out of 7 15 to 30 yards.
Watch Stanton. He's going to come out and then he's going to reverse field. And this is a beautifully thrown ball. At first, Bill, I thought he was throwing to the underneath receiver.
So did the underneath receiver.
Incomplete into the end zone. Intended for a frustrated Matt Walters, the tight end.
But taking a look at the end of the play there, almost an interception. And I don't think that's a catch. But Jeremy Scott looked like he had his left foot on the sideline right here. Boy, that was not a completion.
Off left tackle, Jason Teague, touchdown. Jason Teague with his 6th touchdown of the year. Fighting the flu the last couple of weeks, 75% according to his head coach. So not seeing as much action as normal tonight. DeAndre Cobb got the start at running back. Hallcrick has a touchdown, their 3rd tailback, and now Teague into the act as well, and it's 20-0 Spartans.
And this is worst case scenario for June Jones, not being able to stay on the field offensively and just getting worn down on defense.
Rayner connects again. Michigan State has outgained Hawaii 247 to 73, and it shows on the scoreboard.
It's not your job.
It's not your accent.
Not your clothes.
It's not your car.
It's not your lipstick.
It's not your friends.
It's not your shoes.
It's not your laugh. It's not your hair.
It's your watch.
You can tell more about a person by the watch they wear than anything else. Seiko Kinetic, powered by the movement of your body.
Available at Macy's.
His name's Cole. He was 13 days late. And there was literally a point where I thought I was, going to be pregnant forever. Where you spend your whole life putting yourself first, and then just like that, you're second. And you're just so thankful. That's why I bought a Saturn.
The 5-star crash safety rated 2005 Saturn Vue. Now with 5 years, 60,000-mile extended vehicle coverage or a $1,250 allowance.
K-Swiss. A classic remix.
Put the spin on it.
New colors.
For right now.
Here's the new spin. Turn it up.
Keep it smooth. K-Swiss Classics.
This is my groove.
Put the spin on it.
A different vibe.
A new beat. Spin it like this.
Spin on it.
I keep it classic.
My K-Swiss.
Put your spin on it. K-Swiss.
ESPN2's College Football Saturday Primetime. Brought to you by Seiko. You can tell more about a person by the watch they wear than anything else. Seiko Sportura Kinetic. And Saturn. People first.
Latest scoring drive for the Spartans. 6 plays, 62 yards in just under 2 minutes. They have 59 yards, 72-yard, and now 62-yard scoring marches. And again, outgaining the Warriors, 247 to 73. 21-0, 9:32 still to go first half. And no chance for Jason Ferguson to return that one. Now this latest score set up by, was it a catch or was it not? First, was it intended for Terry Love, who got him down there before stumbling at the 17? Is the foot out?
That foot is definitely out. Jeremy Scott, the slot back.
And the official on the spot wasn't sure, and he waited for the official to come from about the 15-yard line, who was on the sideline, who should have gotten it right, but did not.
He needed help from the line judge.
That's a tough call.
Unfortunately, it wasn't great help.
Timmy Chang just 9 out of 18, 52 yards. There's a good start this drive. First down to the 31 to Jason Rivers. Let's look at it again, and this is magnified. This is the best possible look we can give you.
This is forensic evidence right here. See the toe on the line?
BCI or CSI Honolulu, right? On the marker.
BCS, CSI.
All the letter, alphabet soup. It would appear to be not a catch. But there's no reason to think Michigan State wouldn't have completed that march either. That just made it a lot easier.
You're broken here.
Chang, deep triple coverage with Komine the target, and second down and 10 coming. Chang still groping, you'd have to say, himself, Alex Flanagan.
Absolutely, Dave. Well, you know, Timmy Chang had an opportunity to break the passing record against Boise State, but during that game, Hawaii suffered one of its worst losses in school history, losing 69-3. So June Jones decided that he was not going to have Timmy Chang break the record during that game. He pulled him out of the game, even though Timmy wanted to continue playing. He said that he wanted Timmy to have a good memory of it, but as Dave Norrie mentioned, he said he also wanted Hawaiians to have a good memory of it because he knew it would be a record that they remember for a long, long time. As you guys said, June doesn't think it'll ever be broken.
Second down and 10. Throwing that one away. Hoping for a flag with some contact between Eric Smith and Chad Owens. They get no flag, and they get another third and long.
Well, they won't get a flag because the ball was uncatchable. What they could get is a holding call if the official detected holding, but I don't think that was the case either.
Hawaii on third and long, 0 for 3. They've had a third and 11, third and 10, third and 14. They've got a third and 10 now, and Chang less than 50% now. He's thrown for 64 yards. Stanton for 181 yards. Stanton supposedly the running specialist. Again, deep right side. Finally, single coverage, and the catch is hauled in by Owens, who fights inside the 20. It's taken a quarter and a half, but Chang and Owens, the most dangerous warriors, finally do some damage.
This
50
yards. This is one of the most impressive throws I've seen at the college level this year. I mean, this ball was delivered on the line. Timmy Chang took a big hit on the release, and watch Owens on the ISO here. I mean, he's going to gear down and make a great play on the football. Cuts it back inside. Look at Timmy Chang cut this ball loose, Bill.
Yes, and that is the kind of spin, the ballistication that you talked about, those fancy words, but that was a beautifully thrown ball and a great catch by Owens.
50 yards. It's Chang's first completion of more than 15 yards tonight. And the shovel pass for Brewster inside the 5, still going at the 1.
We are seeing why you can never count the Hawaii Warriors out of a football game. They come at you relentlessly with this offense.
And Bill, this was more of a shovel screen. I mean, you hear about the shovel pass, but the little drop off, and look at the big offensive lineman working downfield. That's a shovel screen. What a call.
But that ball is perfectly delivered. And that's not easy to do when you're running one way and having to throw it back the other way with your left hand.
Everybody in tight, first and goal from the 1. Brewster, did he get in? He got about 6 inches from in.
Now my question for June Jones here is, if you got West Kilikiliki, that
again,
big 280-pound guy.
One more time?
I can say it properly.
I know you can.
Just give me a second.
Just say if you have a 280-pound tailback, you use him, Bill.
Kali'ikipi, West Kali'ikipi, and that's the right way to say his name, is one heck of a short yardage runner. I believe I would have him in there. He is a load and he is fast.
He's a pile mover. I mean, look at this, 280 pounds. You know, and when he was injured, He was, he was out, and his weight ballooned to 330 pounds.
This is Greg Cooper, by the way, being helped off. Well, there have not been a whole lot of 330-pound scatbacks in the history of college football.
Yeah, he did a great job getting back in shape. And, as we said, this has been a great running offense. The times they have gone to the run, right? They're averaging close to 6 yards per carry between Brewster and Kiliikipi.
So inside of a foot to go on 2nd and goal. And this time they are in. Touchdown, Hawaii. Having to be separated after the Kiliikipi touchdown now. The Spartans and Warriors twice have had incidents that, thanks to the officials, did not turn into full-blown brawls.
You did not see a Hawaii player throw a haymaker there because they have a rule. Since they had a fight in their bowl game with Houston last year after the bowl game, June Jones and the administration have a rule. You get in a fight, you're out. Not just for this year, but for next year. So you shouldn't see any Hawaii player participating in fisticuffs.
They absolutely have to turn the other cheek. Doing a good job of it tonight. Justin Ayat, second leading scorer behind Jason Elam in Hawaii history. 21-7.
So much for that.
Kiliikipi from inside a foot. A fringe-like effect for the Warriors.
I mean, I used to date these guys, and I wonder, why doesn't this feel right? Why isn't he the one? And then I met Ben. It's really nice when you realize you don't have to compromise. I mean, not to compare my man to a car, but that's why I bought a Saturn.
The 2005 Saturn Ion. Redesigned, uncompromised. Now with 5 years, 60,000-mile extended vehicle coverage or $1,000 allowance.
Hanging with my boys, no one to bother us. None of that noise. Lady Luck's on my side, I'm about to take the fellas for a ride. A little bluff here and a few white lies. You do what you got to take home the prize. Suckers.
When the going gets tough, the tough get tender. With the tender Philly cheesesteak sandwich, thinly sliced beef, American cheese, and sautéed onions, all stacked on a fluffy steak bun.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The next generation of Ford has arrived. 4 new vehicles, 4 new ways to experience the road ahead. Available only at your Oahu Ford store. The built Ford Tough Super Duty, the luxurious 500, the all-wheel drive Freestyle, the legendary Mustang. And with great lease and purchase incentives, the deals have never been better. The next generation of Ford, in stock and ready for delivery. Only at your Oahu Ford stores.
21-7 after the extra point. Again, we had a near fight with 3 flags, and we are now told the ejection of Clifton Ryan of Michigan State, starting defensive end.
And Clifton Ryan, along with Kevin Vickerson, is the featured pass rusher up front for Michigan State. And he's one of the big stallions up front for Michigan State. And that is an early goodbye from the football game. His team's going to miss him big time against the throwing offense.
Well, again, June Jones saying yesterday he flat out predicted a fight, or at least the chance for a fight in this game. And Bill, as you remember it, after the triple overtime Sheraton Hawaii Bowl against Houston last year, almost a Clemson, South Carolina like football riot marred that game. Also ejected is Jeremy Inferreira, offensive lineman for Hawaii.
Well, I saw him throw the punch. He was retaliating. Yes, he got hit first, but that's what June Jones and the administration here has insisted would not happen. Even if you get hit, you walk away. Well, he couldn't do that. And there are a lot of us who probably couldn't ourselves, but it's something that just has to happen in college football, and the administrations and the coaches have got to be the solutions.
Frank White, the referee, has now issued a sideline warning to Michigan State.
And how about losing your right tackle for next year if Ferreira did indeed throw a punch?
Well, he did. I saw it.
Ayat drives this one through the end zone. And Michigan State will start at their 20. Now we'll watch again what led to the ejection. Here are more flags. And again, officials having to step in and keep potential fights from turning into all-out gang war down there.
21 on the receiving team. After this is a goal, post out.
That's David Herron.
Left side of your screen on the extra point.
Right here.
That's Clifton Ryan, 92. That's why he's been ejected.
And then Ferreira swung back at him in retaliation. So both of them got kicked out.
Had a fight with Cincinnati, 2002. Fight after the bowl game with Houston last year. And it has been a real task for June Jones this year to prevent another occurrence with his Hawaii team this year.
Yeah, really puzzling, too. There's not a lot of damage you can do to a football player with a straight right arm or...
Well, you can break your hand.
Yeah, you can break your own hand.
Up against the helmet. That's all you can do.
Hit him in the helmet or the shoulder pads.
With the mark-off from their 10, Michigan State. First down. Another flag and whistles on the snap. Cobb with the give, and it'll come back.
Yeah, this looked like movement early on the left side of the offensive line for Michigan State.
By the snap, false start. Right side. 5-yard penalty for first down.
Right guard William Whitaker. Already 8 penalties against the Spartans. Hawaii has not been assessed a penalty yet. 15 runs and 12 passes. Pretty balanced look from John L. Smith. And most of the damage has been with Stanton's arm. 181, more of a Chang-like figure. And Stanton dominating the throwing alleys tonight. And Jason Teague up the middle for about 3.
There's not one of us who played up front in the sport of football that didn't take a swing every now and then. But it's wrong. It's loss of control and loss of temper. And in these days, it has a way of escalating into all-out violence, and it's got to be stopped just the way the officials are stopping it tonight.
Exactly it. Because of the last 2 weeks, because of Pacers Pistons, because of Clemson, South Carolina, there's a whole different spotlight being shown on these sports-related gang wars, which is basically what they turn into when they get out of hand. And this officiating crew has its hands full, so far preventing anything from getting out of hand. Stanton reverses field and will be marked out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Probably ran 75 yards. They'll give him 26. Monday night, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN. Monday Night Football. A look with Monday Night Countdown before the kickoff at 9 Eastern on ABC. And maybe the most unpopular man in Dallas, Bill Parcells, takes the Cowboys up to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Monday Night Countdown, 7:30 ESPN. Monday Night Football, 9 Eastern on ABC. Bill Parcells vowing to stick with 40-year-old Vinny Testaverde. All the fans want to see Drew Henson, the former Wolverine. Andre Cobb's turn to motor into the clear, and it's a foot race. A marker down. This may come back. If it doesn't, it's 75 yards for a score for DeAndre Cobb. But the flag is back at the 34-yard line. And if it comes back, and it is on holding, this is the 9th Michigan State penalty. And it's keeping John L. Smith's team from completely running away with this thing.
Yeah, John L. doesn't agree with that call.
Holding on the offense, number 51. 10 yards from the spot of the foul, remains first down.
And now all 5 offensive linemen have been whistled at one time or another. This is the center, Chris Morris.
Chris Morris, this is the best offensive lineman for Michigan State. And let's see if we can freeze it right there. He's latching on. And that is a great call. Bill?
Yep, this is the kind of thing you don't get away with. The arms are extended. He's got hold of cloth. That referee's going to see you every time.
Well, that's a painful admission for Bill Curry to jump on a center, but right out there in the open.
Almost impossible for me to admit that.
9 mark-offs against the Spartans. And hunting for Rune Hallcrick as Michigan State now alternating tailbacks just about every snap. 6:30 and counting in the second quarter. From Aloha Stadium, which has stayed dry since the downpour about a half an hour before the game. It's still extremely windy. And Michigan State paying absolutely no attention to the conditions. Drew Stanton through the air, 10 of 12, 181 yards, running for 33 more. Timmy Chang just 12 of 23 for 131 yards. It was 21-0 Michigan State. Hawaii finally with the drive, sparked by a 50-yard strike on 3rd and 10 from Chang to Chad Owens. And on a 2nd and 1.5, Hallcrick gets about 5.5 for the first.
In 11 games this year, coming into this game, Michigan State had only been penalized 43 times. That's less than 4 a game. And here we are, we're not at halftime yet. And what do we got, 9 so far, Dave? Is that what you said?
9 for 65 yards.
That could be the Hawaii syndrome. You come over, the travel, you know, the time difference. Kids want to get out on the beach. They want to get involved in some activities.
Well, they've been playing football for the most part, though. They have played extremely well.
Well, if ever a coach did everything he could to prevent island fever, whatever you want to call it, John L. Smith has done that. Over the middle, deep strike to Jeremy Scott to the 24-yard line, beating double coverage. Leonard Peters and Abe Elamimian, the best Hawaii has in the secondary, but they can't prevent 36 yards. Stanton to Scott.
Well, Jeremy Scott's done a great job in the slot. This time he lines up in the left slot and just sneaks down the seam. And I continue to be impressed, Bill, with the way that Drew Stanton's ball is cutting through this wind.
He's just doing a great job, and that was not the kind of tight, you know, zone becomes man when that guy gets in your zone, and nobody closed on the receiver. There wasn't any fake, there wasn't any pump.
People wondered about the left eye injury Stanton had against Penn State. 100%. The proof is on just about every pass he's thrown tonight. Teague getting inside the 20.
A couple ejections. This game is really spicing up after the whistle. Really disappointing for me to hear, Bill, that you would ever admit to being involved in that type of thing after a snap your distinguished career playing in 3 Super Bowls. I'm disappointed.
Well, I'm disappointed that you're disappointed. Nobody plays up front that's just a perfectly well person. You know that. The quarterbacks are the only sane people out there.
Bill, you've never shown me any signs of being ill-tempered.
I'm 62 years old.
David, you keep it up, and we may see that.
No, you won't.
For tonight.
Not a chance.
2nd and 5. Stanton on the keep. Quarterback draw. And at the 17-yard line, Ho'ohuli unloading on Stanton. Stanton has had the eye injury. Dislocated shoulder against Michigan. That is on the heels of the knee injury playing special teams the Alamo Bowl. He has shown over and over his capability of coming back physically from all kinds of ailments and taking some of the hardest hits we've seen tonight.
Kids these days talk about bringing the helmet on defense. That's bringing the helmet right there.
Watson Ho'ohuli, middle linebacker for the Warriors, sets up a 3rd and 3. And it's Cobb to the 16. A pickup of only a couple. And now Michigan State can decide whether they want to test Rayner's leg with the swirling winds or perhaps go for it on. It'll still be a 4th and about 2.
There have been times when Leonard Peters, the fine safety for Hawaii, has struggled, but tonight we got him unofficially for 9 tackles. He made a nice open field tackle again on a good back.
Easy decision for John L. Smith. Going for it. 4th and 2. Teague is the tailback. Motion from Scott. the 12-yard line, uncovered for the first down, and maybe he scores if he keeps his footing.
Well, he didn't use very good footwork on the sidelines. And let's take another look at this reception or incompletion. That's a good call, the left foot.
Call. The left foot was down before the right foot touched the line. He has the ball in his possession here.
Now they are saying incompletion.
Well, they blew this call too then, the other way. That was a catch.
That was great footwork along the sideline.
Boy, John L. letting them hear it too. First guy to make the call had it right, as it turned out. But he's overruled, and it's Hawaii ball when we come back.
A world of learning, excellence, diversity, and opportunity. 10 campuses on islands of tropical splendor. The most unique educational experience on Earth. The University of Hawaii System.
It's where academics count. It's where athletes count. It's where alumni count. Count it all up, and you'll have a crystal clear picture of what we believe, who we are, and what we do. Our purpose, our focus, our passion. We are the Western Athletic Conference, where actions count.
Most of the time, it seems, when the officials huddle up and discuss a call, they get it right. But in this case, they didn't, because the initial call was completion, and that would have been the correct call had they not gotten together and overruled the first indication.
No, in NCAA, you only need 1 foot. This time, he got 2 feet inbounds, and they have missed a couple of calls on that sideline.
John L. He's lucky he didn't get another flag thrown on him for that. He's right. Most officials won't let you get away with being quite so vigorous.
Of course, the Big Ten has gone to a new system of replays this year. Spartans unable to be bailed out by that. And they immediately have trouble again with Owens. Last possession, Chang hit him for 50. That got the first scoring drive going. And driven out near midfield this time on the first play of the Hawaii possession with 2:33 to go in the first half. 27 yards.
Owens had a monster game last week. 5 touchdowns against Northwestern, 4 through the air. And take a look at him in the slot here. He's going to work a great route to the outside. And what a fit by Timmy Chang on that throw. Another big-time ball from Chang.
4 catches, 101 yards now for Chad Owens. 8 yards on the completion to Gerald Welch, their 4th leading pass catcher, senior from Kahuku, Hawaii. And they're at the 42 Michigan State territory as we near 2 minutes in the half. The Warriors with 2 more timeouts to work with.
This is what you don't want if you're the opposition for Hawaii, is to let this rhythm get started where these little guys are running around catching balls and they'll start running away from it.
After the poor start, 4 straight completions for Chang. He's at 173 yards on another 300-yard pace. And he'll throw passes like that that are just puzzling. Owens is open. He bounces it 3 yards in front of him.
Yeah, at times, Timmy Chang, at times, if there's a ball that he struggles with, sometimes it's those easy short throws to the outside. And he had a couple games this year, Bill, where he really struggled, especially on the road. Boise State, Fresno State. And he really didn't react well on the road a couple times, but then you see him make some other throws down the field. He looks like he's NFL ready.
Well, June thinks he may function even better in a standard offense than in this kind that requires all these adjustments.
Third, a very short 2. And Chang again for Owens. He's slung down by Eric Smith, but he easily has the first at the 38-yard line. We're coming up on the college football game day halftime report. USC hangs on. UCLA made David Norrie proud in the process, though. Auburn had a closer call than it looked like they were going to have with Tennessee in the SEC title game. And a look at the very inspirational Spartan, J.U. Colcrick, who we've seen contribute a touchdown already tonight for Michigan State. All that coming up on the college football game day halftime report. 1st and 10. Chang rolling. And running out of room and throwing it away. June Jones thinks that he might be a mid to late round draft candidate. And he actually thinks, this was the most surprising thing I think we heard from June Jones yesterday. He thinks a standard offense, one totally unlike the one that Timmy Chang has run for him, the run and shoot, will actually benefit Chang.
I think that always benefits a quarterback if you got a solid run game. And they have a solid run game here in Hawaii. It's just not, there's so much of this offense is about Tim Chang and the weight on his shoulder.
Protection's gotten better as the game's gone on. He makes Owens stretch all 5'9" and works hard for about a 2-yard gain before Greg Cooper comes up for the hit, and we hit the 102 mark.
Really, Bill, the knock on Tim Chang as scouts try to evaluate him is his height. 6'1". I think he's got a great arm. He can make all the throws. The ball comes out in a hurry.
There have been a lot of 6'1" guys that have won Super Bowls.
Yeah, how about Drew Brees this year?
Drew Brees is a modern version of those people. He's a student of the game, like Timmy is. He's gone through some hard times in the NFL, and he's earned a chance to play this year, and now he's keeping the bonus baby on the bench.
Yeah, and, you know, Ben, people were ready to cast him out a year ago. Now he's created a pretty tough situation. Dave, you follow the NFL pretty closely. San Diego's going to have to come up with some pretty big money.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I got distracted for a second.
The evil eye there. I would ask you to repeat your question now after I regain my composure.
What was I saying, guys?
He's suggesting that you say something nice about the Warriors.
But Dave, I was getting back to my comment, if I can. You know, Drew Brees, San Diego may have to come up with a lot of money to keep Drew Brees around now. The way
Drew's getting ready to be real wealthy.
Well, they spend the high pick on Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers may never get a chance to take over at San Diego. 3rd and 8. Wides on the right side, looking there, deep middle, caught, touchdown! Owens again, and we've got a game. It took Chad about a quarter and a half to show up tonight.
Bill, I haven't seen many quarterbacks this year. We've done a number of games. I haven't seen many quarterbacks throw the ball like this.
No, and I haven't seen many receivers with hands like Chad Owens. He is plucking them out of the air. He makes it look like it's nothing. That's a hard ball to catch. And that ball wasn't spinning exactly the way you'd want it to, but it was thrown where you want it.
Ayat to make it a 7-point game. In the last game for Owens against Northwestern, 9 catches, 155 yards, 4 touchdowns. He also had a return touchdown, so 5 scores in his last game, and now 7 catches, 143 yards, and this touchdown still in the first half tonight.
Not only an accurate ball, but the timing on the throw. You're right, Bill, that ball came apart on him a bit, but the arm strength, sometimes you can throw a ball that isn't a tight spiral and still put it on a spot. And that time, Chang got a great route from his slot back Owens and delivered it right on the money.
And he got man coverage. What Michigan State's been doing more and more since the front four wasn't getting pressure, they've been bringing backers, and you put Chang man-to-man with Owens and the rest of these receivers, Welch, Rivers, Weems, they're going to hurt you. And yes, there was a bad call, but it was at the 10-yard line. They still had to go 90 yards to score.
Remember how one-sided that number was just a few minutes ago? Well, Chang has finally started to get the Hawaii offense to look like itself, and even as near perfect as Stanton has been, Timmy Chang now bringing the Warriors back with back-to-back touchdown drives.
Remember what I said, these guys are never out of a game because they're scared of feeling.
Wouldn't you be? Chang, 8 of his last 11 for 151 yards and that touchdown. And the high short kick Return by Scott. Jeremy out to the 33. 21 on the return. 50 seconds to work with. Chad Owens may have a crack at least as a return man at the next level.
I think he's got a crack at being a receiver at the next level. He's a great receiver in the slot. Very quick. Great adjustment to the ball right there. This is a guy who made 85 catches last season, and this year, you know, I think he's eclipsed that 85 catch mark tonight. Came into the game with 81 catches.
Guess how many scholarship offers he had? Zip. Nada. He walked on here, earned a scholarship very quickly.
And David, you're right. He's at 88 catches now for the year. This is DeAndre Cobb, who spins his way to the 42. There are all 3 timeouts for the Spartans to work with. They'll call the first with 39 seconds.
This football game is spiced up a bit here in the second quarter. Couple ejections, some heated exchanges after the whistle, couple controversial calls, and June Jones is liking what he's seeing right now.
Well, be sure to join us tomorrow night on ESPN for Sunday Night Football. This week, the Pittsburgh Steelers and their Rookie of the Year candidate, probably shoe-in, Ben Roethlisberger, against the Jacksonville Jaguar team making the push toward the postseason themselves. Coverage begins with NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, 2:30 Hawaii time. Down to Alex Flanagan.
Hey, Dave. Well, Michigan State linebacker Clifton Ryan appears to be very disappointed after being ejected from the game. He has been sitting on the sidelines for a while, was at one point wiping tears from his eyes. Now, remember, he's a young sophomore who John L. Smith has high expectations of. He talks about this kid becoming one of the leaders of the team. He's actually sat him down a number of times this season and asked him to be more of a vocal leader, somebody who steps up, motivates the team, is very positive. He wants him to be a positive influence. Something, though, that John L., you won't imagine, will look positively on tonight, Dave.
Well, maybe the fact that he's reacted that way to the ejection is the best sign you could hope for from him. Hopefully it'll never happen to him again. Second down and 1 run by Cobb. DeAndre across midfield and out a foot race. Only Peters there to prevent a touchdown. At the 8-yard line with 30 seconds to go, a 49-yard burst by DeAndre Cobb.
Well, Bill, this Michigan State running offense, a running offense by committee, 3 run backs, but Cobb is the breakaway guy. He's the home run threat.
And he's getting a lot of help up front. Whitaker, Poole, doing a heck of a job making big holes.
First and goal, Jason Teague with a hop and a leap and reaches for the goal line. Touchdown. Jason Teague from 8 yards out.
Precisely what Hawaii must avoid in a game like this is allowing this team to come back and just maul them up front and ram it down their throat in the end zone with only 40 seconds left, and it took them 16 seconds to get down the field and score all runs. Not a good sign. Not very good tackling, and this is what we've seen before when Hawaii struggled.
That was a case of an offensive line turning the momentum around in a football game.
Rayner for the extra point. Well, Hawaii in this game within 7 for not even 30 seconds. And Jason Teague again finding the end zone.
Watch the surge up front. Chris Morris doing a nice job wiping off there, 51. Sort of a little double team on the nose, and then he slides off on the linebacker. Nobody home to make the hit until they get to the secondary.
Yeah, Chris Morris, the big center, Bill. You know, the offensive coaches for Michigan State say he is the reason that they run the ball successfully when this offense is humming.
He makes all the calls, and the centers are invariably the brightest guys on the football team.
Funny how that is always the case. No matter the matchup we have,
I haven't said that in several weeks.
One of the most consistent comments we enjoy hearing from your expertise.
Mr. Morris would agree with Mr. Curry, I think.
See, he's a finance major.
Chris would be
go where the bucks are.
Chris would be disappointed with you, Bill, if you admitted to him that you got involved in those fracases after the whistle. I don't think we ought to bring that up with him.
Hawaii drives within 7 points, and it lasts until a 3-play, 67-yard Michigan State answer and an unreturnable kick. Warriors have 1 timeout, 80 yards, and 24 seconds. Well, there's a reason when there is a team ranked dead last nationally against the run, and that's Hawaii this year. There's a reason. We have seen the reason tonight, and the number one issue, not getting to the ball carrier, but figuring out how to get down the ball carrier.
Usually this Hawaii defense plays better on the island. Fresno State hung 70 points on them. Boise State 69 points. But this defense really was one of the major reasons last week they were able to upset Northwestern and keep their bowl hopes alive.
Michael Brewster picks up 3 as Hawaii will apparently hang on to the timeout, head to the locker room, and try and keep this advantage the way they expected. 6-1 at home, 0 for the road this year. They must win this one. They must come from behind and figure out a way to hold off this Michigan State attack to earn the postseason bid, the home bid here in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, Christmas Eve. 28-14, back to Reese Davis.
Championship Saturday. Oftentimes, guys, we've seen a lot of shakeup at the top. The national championship game can be affected. All USC needed to do was win the victory bell again against UCLA, and the Trojans will be off to the FedEx Orange Bowl to play for the national championship. Trojans and UCLA, and there's real life moving Tommy Trojan pointing towards Miami. Second quarter, 10-7 USC. Reggie Bush had already gone 65 yards for a touchdown. This time he goes 81.
Speak of a guy moving, guys. Look at this, Mark. I mean, a terrific job of him bouncing outside right there. Great vision and speed, getting down the field. 81 yards, his second touchdown of the day.
It's 29-24, last minute of the game. Drew Olson, this after a Reggie Bush fumbled. He had a great day, but Olson picked off by Jason Leach. Leach actually fumbles at the end of this, but SC recovers 29-24. Bush over 300 yards of total offense. Fight on. SC headed toward the national championship game. Oklahoma hoping to join them, and boy, did the Sooners put a beat down on the Buffs. We'll show you how they did it in a bit.
Monday Night Countdown, delivered by UPS, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Let's focus here. Will Week 13 be a lucky one? Find out on Sunday NFL Countdown. Let's go. First, can McNabb's Eagles finally hit it big this year? Boomer and Donovan discuss their chances. Then he was last year's co-MVP. Has Steve McNair's luck run out? Plus predictions. Here we come.
I'm going to take the Houston Texans to San Diego.
And previews of games from all around the league. Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by Old Spice, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
It's where academics count. It's where athletes count. It's where alumni count. Count it all up, and you'll have a crystal clear picture of what we believe, who we are, and what we do. Our purpose, our focus, our passion. We are the Western Athletic Conference, where action.
Presenting AIG Hawaii's $10,000 holiday cash sweepstakes.
Holiday cash?
That's right. AIG Hawaii is giving away $2,500 each week for 4 weeks.
What do I do?
Just call 533-AIGH today for your money-saving auto insurance quote and save hundreds with our special rates. Mention AIG Hawaii's $10,000 holiday cash sweepstakes and you're automatically entered to win $2,500.
Just in time for the holidays.
Call 533-AIGH and enter AIG Hawaii's $10,000 holiday cash sweepstakes today.
recovering thief. Meet Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason. I've been walking around for 42 years without any support. I was in denial. I just hopped from one pair of shoes to the next. I was in a world of hurt until I stumbled into the Good Feet store. I saw the light. I'm enjoying life now, one step at a time.
Stop abusing your feet. Get on the road to recovery. 866-414-3338.
Our championship Saturday nightcap from the tropical paradise. June Jones' team trying to become bowl eligible. This is the Spartans bowl game. Michigan State and Hawaii at the brink. Big 12 championship game, Colorado and Oklahoma. And the Sooners opened up a Big 12-sized can of whooping on the Buffs' backside Mayday. Jason White looked terrific.
He goes over the top here to Mark Clayton for 22 yards on the touchdown. Oklahoma would take the 14-0 lead, but in the second quarter, the same score.
Touchdowns, 42-3 the final. SEC championship game. Auburn needed to be impressive, many thought, against a Tennessee team which had been struggling. SEC championship game record. Tommy Tuberville's team was challenged 38-28 for they're the SEC champions for the sixth time in history. In the ACC, winner gets the BCS bid, Virginia Tech and Miami defensive line.
Yeah, Jim Davis did a great job of getting his hands up here. Darrell Tapp, 3 straight plays, the defensive line getting their hands up, knocking the ball down. That was a story. Virginia Tech's defense stifling that Miami offense.
Virginia Tech to the BCS. Cal hoping to do the same against Southern Mississippi, but Texas lurking with them and trying to get the sturdy Golden Bears able to add another score. Now, was that enough to impress the voters and make sure they stay ahead of Texas? 26-16 the final there. There's one at-large spot. Cal or Texas could automatically get it if they finish in the top 4 of the BCS. Utah's got one, and that would eliminate the other. Pittsburgh wins the Big East tiebreaker. They will go to the BCS as a representative after their 43-14 win over future Big East member South Florida. College Game Day Bowl Selection Special. We will be here along with Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit to sort out all of the bowl scenarios. 6 o'clock Sunday night Eastern Time, 3 o'clock on the West Coast. When we come back, J.U. Colquitt runs with abandon, runs with passion, and you want to talk about overcoming obstacles. You don't see many stories like this.
Every night in home workshops, there are people creating. People who pay attention to details, who consider their workbench as much of a showplace as their mantle. These are the people Dremel makes tools for, like the new 400 Series XPR. With new high-performance attachments, expanded capabilities, and greater control, the XPR enables people to enjoy better results in everything they do, which helps turn spare time into time well spent. The Dremel 400 Series XPR.
I wanted popcorn chicken. I wanted crispy strips.
I wanted original recipe.
The KFC Variety Bucket, a 3-in-1 combo of KFC favorites, all for just $9.99.
Chicken Capital USA!
And they're off. Gray Ambition breaking well. Quick Sandy comes out hopping. It's Quick Sandy, and here comes... What the... Diagaze is stuck at the gate with no jockey.
Timex Perpetual Calendar with perfect date-keeping technology.
Wow, looks nice. So your electric bill's going to be a little higher this month. Just like your family's wireless bill. Well, relax. Only Sprint got rid of ugly overages for families. Take a look.
Protect your family from ugly overages. Now, 100 extra minutes only cost $5. Other plans charge at least $35, and unlimited Sprint PCS to PCS calling is included.
And with the money you save, maybe this could be a year-round thing.
Sprint PCS. Now that's better.
Back here in Honolulu, Aloha Stadium at halftime, where Michigan State leads Hawaii 28-14. One of the real stories for the Spartans in terms of their running attack this year has been the play of redshirt freshman J.U. Colquitt, who has contributed a touchdown tonight. 619 yards now for his season, 32 yards and this score on 6 carries against Hawaii. While football may be a rough sport, J.U. Colquitt has seen the battles waged on the football field pale in comparison to the war he faced as a young boy growing up in Liberia, an experience that still haunts him today.
I'm walking down the street sometime and, smell like a really awful smell or something like that. I would just think of like the dead bodies back there.
Haunting reminders for the Michigan State running back of a war-ravaged life he narrowly escaped. J.U. Colquitt was born in Liberia in 1983, when peace still prevailed, but civil unrest loomed. By the mid-1980s, the government was under siege. J.U.'s father, a security chief for Liberia's Secretary of State, was forced to flee the country and leave his family behind. Staying with them would have risked their lives.
Even if you were just a friend to them, they will kill you.
5 years later, J.U.'s mother, Benita, had separated from J.U.'s father and met an American businessman in Liberia. She moved to the United States to marry him and tried to obtain visas for her children, who had stayed in Liberia with their grandparents. But before J.U. and his sister Martia could leave, civil war erupted, a vicious war that would eventually kill more than 150,000 men, women, and children. One day when J.U. was 7, tragedy hit home. A foster child, Joseph, who J.U. and his sister considered their own brother, was struck.
We were all in the house and we heard one of the soldiers say, F with this house and like, let's see what's in there or who's in there. And so they just opened fire on our house.
I don't know how this struck him. It went through so many things. It went through a door, a chair leg, another door, and then went through his neck.
The family was forced to keep Joseph's body in the house for weeks before the gunfire slowed enough to allow them to bury him outside. With the violence growing worse, J.U.'s grandparents took the children and fled.
You walk miles all day. You're lucky if someone's nice enough to give you a cup of water that everyone can share.
One of our neighbors that was going with us had passed out, and we had tried to pick her up, but the soldiers were like, keep moving, keep moving. So we left her, and when we came back, we had seen her on the side of the road. At that time, she was all like blown up.
In America, Benita had lost all contact with her family for 2 years. Liberian authorities would not allow anyone in or out of the country.
I cried every day, and I was wondering, did they get any food to eat today? You know, I just was everything. You will have the worst things go through your mind at a time like that, because you're wondering if they're even alive.
Benita flew to a neighboring country and snuck rides into Liberia. She searched for her family day after day. She found them 3 months later.
I stepped out in front of the house, and my dad was sitting there. He goes, Benita? Benita? I thought he was just gonna die. I was like, yes, Daddy, it's me. Yes, Daddy, it's me. And he's like, Benita? He could not believe it, you know? And
everyone just went nuts, you know. We ran out there, gave her a big hug, you know, and she came, she brought us some clothes, some food.
It was a good feeling to see them, you know, and to count them and see that everybody was there. Everybody was there. And then it was like, okay, we gotta get out of this place.
The family spent 4 days running through the darkness and hitching rides to freedom. Just before they left Africa, the family learned sad news.
We were sitting in the medical office when I seen the newspaper, and it said 500 Liberians killed in Sierra Leone, you know. And I don't know why, but I just took the newspaper and I was going down the list, and I knew what I was looking for. I was looking for J.U.'s dad's name, and boom, it was right there.
I was devastated. I was just devastated. I just cried.
J.U. and his sister landed in New York with their mother in 1992. J.U. was 9, Martia 11.
They were afraid at first when it rained and lightning and thunder. It reminded them of guns and bombs.
You know, we would like try to go to find protection somewhere, but and then my mom would have to be like, no, it's okay, it's okay.
While J.U.'s friends in Liberia were forced to become child soldiers and taught to kill, J.U. was able to play high school football, led his team to a state championship. He received a full scholarship to Michigan State.
J.U. Michigan State.
A happy ending to a terrifying story most would want to forget. Not J.U.
It's something I definitely want to hold on to because I feel it makes me a stronger person. If you got a bad grade or, you fumble or something like that, it's not the end of the world. I could have not been here. It makes you appreciate life. It makes you appreciate things.
Well, we can only hope that J.U.'s life will be filled with many more happy endings, and the only roar he hears in the future is that of the crowd cheering his touchdowns. We'll be back after this.
New Pepsi Holiday Spice is now on its way.
Whoops. Let's back her up, boys.
A blend of cola and spice. It'll be here just for the holidays.
No, the other way.
If it gets here at all.
What are we stealing?
If you want to be the perfect thief, you've got to look the look, talk the talk, and walk the walk. Ocean's 12.
So, how'd it go?
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, December 10th.
Hello, children. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house. T.O.'s the best receiver in the NFL. I know that don't rhyme, but y'all know it's true. And out on the hardwood, what else do we know? When Ben Wallace jams it, you must fear the throw. Check out that slap shot, Martin, St. Louis. While Josh Childress is driving and popping the 3. With me up in Philly, the Eagles take flight. 'Tis the season for giving, but receiving's all right.
This season, give ESPN 2K5 video games. Rated E for everyone.
The next generation of Ford has arrived. 4 new vehicles, 4 new ways to experience the road ahead. Available only at your Oahu Ford store. The built Ford Tough Super Duty, the luxurious 500, the all-wheel drive Freestyle, the legendary Mustang. And with great lease and purchase incentives, the deals have never been better. The next generation of Ford, in stock and ready for delivery. Only at your Oahu Ford stores.
Going 33 yards for the Jimmy Chang.
OC16 is getting bigger, better, and stronger.
Every day.
First quarter, first drive of the game for the Sabres. Red Raiders avoid the fumbles in this game after trouble.
The Warriors running around. You could be the den mother. Doing good.
And once again, the new look UH-Wahine.
Crew today is Larry. Larry's putting out the rigs right now, getting ready to...
You want to make sure if you shoot on the lure that you use on the pipeline, unprecedented fork.
Catch the wave right here on OC16.
Michigan State over 400 total yards and leading Hawaii 28-14 here at halftime at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. Be sure to join us Sunday night on ESPN for Sunday Night Football. This week, Ben Roethlisberger, the front-runner for Rookie of the Year. The Pittsburgh Steelers take on Jacksonville, making their own push toward the postseason. Coverage begins with NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern. More coming at halftime from Hawaii when we return.
Now through Sunday, Zales is having a diamond sale where you can save up to 50% off. Plus, take up to an extra $500 off on diamonds store-wide at Zales, the diamond store.
This season, give the gift of John Madden and Dale Jarrett's holiday CD.
And it's only the first quarter.
For a gift people will actually want, come in now to Outback Steakhouse and buy holiday gift certificates today.
Circuit City's store-wide sale is going on now. Hurry in today for unbeatable prices on the coolest gifts. All camcorders are on sale. All MP3 players and home theater systems are on sale, too. You'll get a free DVD player with any TV $6.99 and up. And pay no interest till January 2007 on all TVs $4.99 and up. Now at Circuit City.
The Rose Bowl. New Year's Day, 100,000 fans will pack this place. Impressive number. Allstate has their own impressive number, 1 million. That's about how many drivers switched to Allstate last year. enough to fill 10 Rose Bowls. Why? Many of them saved an average of $278 a year. Now that calls for a parade. Championship insurance for less. That's all, State Stan. Are you in good hands?
Just about set now for the second half. 28-14 Michigan State back here in Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. Dave Barnett, Bill Curry, David Norrie. Good news for Hawaii. They got back in the game. Bad news is it lasted 32 seconds.
16 seconds, wasn't it? Michigan State, when they put their mind to it, can run the football, David, as well as anybody in America. And they just demonstrated it against the last-ranked rush defense.
I have more bad news. 403 yards of total offense for Michigan State at halftime. That's not a very good trend if you're a Hawaii fan.
The 800-yard outburst is tough to overcome. That's the pace the Hawaii defense is looking at. Started early, 3 quick scores in a row by the Spartans. The hurdle by Knott into the end zone got him going. And then finally Chang to Owens as they get back-to-back touchdowns. 36-yard strike there. This is DeAndre Cobb immediately after that score. 47 yards to get it to first and goal. And our Yamaha game track then saw a quick touchdown to put the Spartans right back up by 14 points. A 32-second touchdown drive after Hawaii had closed within 7. Debris all over the field. Wind at least in the 30-mile-an-hour range. But thankfully, we've been rain-free since about a half hour before the game. And a touchback will allow us to send us again down below to a windswept Alex Flanagan.
Very windswept, Dave. Well, we've seen an emotionally charged first half. John L. Smith told me that you hate to see players ejected, a player ejected on each team. But he was quick to point the finger. He said that that's what Hawaii gets away with. He said you see it happen on film. They start pushing, and that's what happens. June Jones, meanwhile, very disappointed with the fighting. He said officials ejected both players, one on each team, but did not ask them to leave the stadium. So at the half, he asked his offensive lineman, Jeremy Inferreira, to go home, Dave.
Well, not surprising that John L. Smith would have a completely different slant on the fighting issue than June Jones. Cobb wrapped up for a loss. First man there, Chad Kapanui, the linebacker. June Jones saying that other teams tend to try and bait his players into fights, and they, for instance, in the bowl game last year, held off chance after chance that the Houston players were giving his players to get a fight started until the game ended. And then helmet swinging ball lasted about 10 minutes, really marred the proceedings. A loss of 3 yards. Second and 13 for Stanton. On the roll and incomplete. Intended for a diving Agim Shabai. On the first play, was this a fumble, not just a loss of 3?
Drew Stanton opens up, the handoff to Cobb. No, that's not a fumble. Ball hit the ground. The minute the ball hits the ground there, the ball is down.
Brown can't cause a fumble. Third and 13. Spartans go to 4 wide. They have outpassed Hawaii 217 to 215. Stanton beating Chang in his own game. We'll have a flag and incomplete, a near interception intended for Terry Love off the hands of Lamar Broadway. Well, a flag where you would expect to see Frank White, the referee, call holding.
Yeah, it's going to be on 81, Jason Randall, we think.
Number 81. That penalty is declined. They'll take the result of the play. 4th down.
Randall it is. Stanton out passing Chang, and we thought it would be no contest in the run comparison, but that's even more domination than we would expect. 186 to 26 on the ground for Michigan State. All 9 penalties against them. All 5 offensive linemen have had a mark off against them. Brandon Fields, nation's leading punter, in challenging conditions, to say the least, and that one goes 34 yards.
Wow, that's a guy that averages 48 yards. Now, it's hard to believe the wind's blowing hard enough to affect his drop, but maybe it is as he drops the ball, because that ball hit the inside of his foot, and that's what caused it to shank off to the left like that.
Believe it or not, that is Comer than it was through most of the first half. First forecast we had at kickoff said 30 miles an hour. That might have been the minimum wind speed these quarterbacks had to deal with. Chang with all day. Over the middle again for Owens. One play and a touchdown. How about it? 51 yards.
Timmy Chang rolled to the right, then came backside on the read once again. Owens up the slot. And look at these hands, Bill. I mean, a beautiful ball, but another great catch by Owens.
This is a basic two-deep coverage. Here we'll see the extra point, and then we'll take another look at it.
Ayat makes it again a 7-point game. Timmy Chang now 9 of his last 12, 202 yards, 2 scores in that span, both to Owens.
It's low carb gone silver. Bacardi Silver Low Carb. Black Cherry Premium Malt Beverage. 4.5 grams of carbs and 94 calories, never tasted so good. Bacardi Silver. Flavor your night.
I consider myself smart.
In the know.
Practical.
Practical.
So when I wanted a new SUV,
I did my homework. I found the perfect one.
Suzuki XL7. Tons of standard features. Tons of standard features.
I like the V6.
I like the
V6.
Seat 7.
Seat 7. And it comes with peace of mind.
Because it comes with America's #1 warranty.
It's family-friendly SUV.
That's big.
That's big on adventure. Now that's smart.
That's smart.
XL7.
Gray Ambition breaking well. Quick Sandy comes out hopping. It's Quick Sandy, and here comes... What the... Dear Gaze is stuck at the gate with no jockey.
Timex Perpetual Calendar with perfect date-keeping technology.
This holiday, discover the magic at Radio Shack. For games on the go, it's our Game Boy Advance SP Value Pack, only $129.99. And for games at home, there's our GameCube Value Pack. It's only $149.99. Radio Shack has your child's first laptop, like the Barbie Bilingual Laptop, just $59.99. Or the VTech Bilingual Laptop, only $79.99. Great gifts right in your neighborhood.
Only at Radio Shack.
Looking for the perfect gift that'll brighten everyone's holiday? Just head around the corner for our gift card from Applebee's.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
Meet the straight line intersect. Just stick, and it automatically levels 3 laser lines for perfectly square results. So tame the tiles, sharpshoot the shelves, and conquer the collage. Intersect, another advanced electronic tool from Straight Line.
Touchdowns are coming by the minute, literally, in Honolulu tonight.
Let's take one more look. There's Owens. He's going to split the middle of the field. No, that's not a good. Split the middle of the field. Dortch right here, 34, is supposed to run with him. It's like Tampa Bay plays the traditional 2 deep. He's supposed to make the throw elevate such that the safeties can get there, and he doesn't get enough depth. So Greg Cooper and Jason Harmon are left on an island. They can't make it, and the throw, David, was perfect.
Yeah, that was a beautiful throw, and, you know, Dortch is not going to be able to run with Owens. And when you have a 2 deep safeties, they've got to gain depth. The safeties were beat as well on that play.
Ringing this one out. DeAndre Cobb, big mistake. Big Ten defenses got to be thanking their lucky stars. They don't deal with Chad Owens on a weekly basis. Northwestern saw him catch 9 balls for 155 yards, 4 touchdowns. Michigan State has seen him catch 8 for 194 yards and 2 touchdowns, and we still have a half to play.
Well, this is the first time I've seen Tim Chang with the naked eye, Bill, and I'm telling you, he is impressing me. He is making some throws down the football field. He can really attack all spots on a football field.
David, he only has 16,000 so far in yardage.
On the ground, Teague. And a good start. Michigan State last time Hawaii closed within 7, scored in 3 plays and 32 seconds.
I don't care if he's 5'10". I mean, he's 6'1", but even if he's 5'9", 5'10", if you can see down the field and fit the ball into seams like he is tonight, Timmy Chang, I mean, I think he's going to play at the next level.
2nd and 4. Tran is wide right. Jeremy Scott is wide left. And Stanton, after the play fake, goes tight end. Jason Randall on the first down near the 30. No, much more for his blocking than his catching. Timmy Chang now at 256 yards on 18 of 31 after a very poor start. We've seen it his entire career. He'll have a bad quarter. He'll have a bad half. He'll end up with 400 yards.
Is that Broadway?
And the injured Hawaii defender is junior free safety Lamar Broadway from Corona, California.
And Broadway was there as the ball arrived and just got run over. You watch at the end of the play, Jason Randall, big tight end, and look at the collision there. Broadway was leading with his helmet. That is a dangerous play. Ooh, you hate to see that.
But you do like to see his arms moving. His arms and hands are moving. It's the first sigh of relief that Lamar provides us. He goes 175. Randall goes 269. And Lamar up, and he'll jog it off. He's fine.
You love to see that. Looked like Broadway was turning back to make a play on the football. Didn't quite make it in time. And as a result, Broadway isn't expecting the contact on the helmet that quickly. It's great to see him get up and get off the football field.
At the 29, 1st and 10. Teague split out wide right. This time it's the other tight end, Eric Knott. We've got the Spartans scoring started tonight. He's got 13 yards and another first down.
Stanton's doing a great job of utilizing his tight ends tonight.
Watch this. George Lumpkin, the defensive coordinator for Hawaii, has come out with calculated risk. He's going with the blitz, man coverage, and the man can't get there. Eric Knott too quick off the football. You can't play that far off. Landon Convences had responsibility, and he was lined up the wrong place.
Spinning into trouble, and just into more trouble this time is Teague.
Now, this is what Lumpkin's doing. He's coming up and daring him. He's blitzing. He's getting somebody in every gap. He's penetrating, and the risk he's taking is man-to-man coverage.
Yeah, 8 men in the box. Lumpkin said, hey, we got to get enough men in the box to get this run game. It works on this play, Bill, but it really opens up opportunities for Drew Stanton in the pass game, and he's taking advantage tonight.
George Lumpkin came to Hawaii and decided he liked it here. And he played 2 years. He's now coaching his 30th year. DeAndre Cobb with a flag down at the end of the run at the 47-yard line of the Warriors. Cobb has been the toughest nut for the Warrior defense to crack all night. If this run stands, he's over 100 yards. Would be at 110 yards. Coming back, holding again, Michigan State. They now have all 10 penalties in this game.
Number 18, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, remaining second down.
18, Terry Love, the wideout. All 10 penalties on John L. Smith's Spartans.
John L's disgusted with this, but he does have his hand outside, and he's got a piece of that cloth, and they're going to call you. That left hand's outside the shoulder pad on Alabama here.
Yeah, that's really a needless penalty downfield. Cobb was just finishing off the run. Cobb looks healthy, coming off the hip flexor problem. Got a nice burst on that play.
Second out 13. And the screen set up for Teague. Hawaii swarming Jason Teague. He'll lose a couple. Elamimian and Kamaka Vivole are there for the defense, ranked 114th, 4th from the bottom overall, dead last against the run, and 112th in scoring defense. It is far from George Lumpkin's best unit. He would admit that. But he's been here for a reason. He has served 5 different head coaches for the University of Hawaii. They gave Teague the line of scrimmage before he was thrown back, so it's 3rd and 13. And they run the draw to Cobb. Not for much, though. Cobb finally brought down by Alabama.
And Bill, they went back to the sprint draw. And that was the play call on the hold.
Yep, the
by TYRELL.
misdirection sprint draw, which has given Hawaii a lot of trouble, but this is an inspired defense right now, and that's the way they're going to have to play all the time. And Owens back to return the punt.
They have never lost when he's returned for a touchdown. A 76-yarder against Northwestern to go with his 4 touchdown catches. This one backs him up to the corner at the 12-yard line, and he starts picking his way through white jerseys.
He's scary. You don't want to try to tackle this guy in the open field. You got to have a bunch of white shirts to get it done.
45 on the kick, 12 on the return for Owens. 28-21, Michigan State.
'Twas the night before Christmas, ESPN video games take flight. 'Tis the season for giving, but receiving's alright.
ESPN 2K5 video games, rated everyone. It's the fajita grilled stuffed burrito from Taco Bell, loaded with authentic carne asada steak and grilled fajita vegetables, all wrapped in a flour tortilla and grilled to go. Ooh, fajitas. For sizzling fajita taste, think outside the bun.
Get a wireless laptop with technology designed for mobile performance. Make sure it has Intel Centrino mobile technology built in.
7 years ago, Bristol-Myers Squibb medicines literally saved my life. I simply wouldn't be here without them. Today, Bristol-Myers Squibb researchers are focused on our most serious diseases with revolutionary treatments for cancer and AIDS. These researchers dedicate their lives to fighting our most serious diseases. And these medicines can make the difference for millions of us. I'm living proof of that. Hope, triumph, and the miracle of medicine. Bristol-Myers Squibb Company.
I'm no car expert, but
I do know what I want. You know what I want?
more bang.
Bang for my buck.
More bang for my buck. From a car and
A car company.
that's why I got a Forenza. By Suzuki. Suzuki! Woo! Protected by America's #1 warranty.
Numero uno.
And it's got more room and more features.
Then Civic. Then a Civic.
Forenza. It gives so much.
And it asks so little. Who says you can't have it all?
Forenza! Forenza!
ESPN2's College Football Saturday Primetime. Brought to you by Suzuki. More and more people are making the smart move to Suzuki.
Well, the Michigan State campus has the famous Sparty statue. Honolulu has a few works of sculpture of its own. 28-21, Michigan State once led 21-0. First possession, one play, 51 yards, touchdown. This starts with a first down strike of 12 yards to Jason Rivers. Timmy Chang, midway through the first half, had Hawaii averaging just 3 yards per play. They are now averaging 7.5 yards per play. Very rocky beginning. Couldn't have his rhythm from down to down, certainly not from series to series. But finally, he and Chad Owens started to hook up. And on the first play of the second half, 51 yards to make this a one-touchdown game again.
Yeah, Timmy actually showing some emotion.
Yeah, things get...
I don't know that I've seen him do that before.
Things get a little bit more fun at the position when you start hitting balls down the middle of the field.
He's so calm.
Wright throws back deep, middle and overthrown. Rivers with a couple of steps on Jaron Hayes.
That was one of those situations in the run and shoot where I think the quarterback and the wide receivers weren't on the same page. Remember, the run and shoot, wide receivers release, they read the coverage for June Jones in this run and shoot offense. Quarterbacks and wide receivers have to be on the same page. That was one of the rare occasions tonight where they were not on the same page.
And June says we look really bad running a play, but we'll run it very well later because we'll run the same route 12 times in a game. And a running team doesn't have that luxury. It's really an interesting concept.
Also interesting, Bill, in practice, when passes are thrown badly, way off target, never says a word. We're going to have another mark off.
No,
this might be the first penalty of the night against Hawaii.
And Mouse Davis was originally the architect of this offense. There's a shot of Mouse. Coach June Jones back in the mid-70s. Neil Lomax played for him.
On the defense, number 91.
and that goes against Michigan State on Kevin Vickerson. Illegal signals, which caused the Hawaii line to raise up early.
Now, this is an offense. Take a look. John L. Smith can't believe. Look at that.
That's something that happens all the time, and it's almost never called. What happens is the linebacker will get down there and start barking out the snap count of the offense. It's against the rules, but the officials almost never call it. And I will tell you that Hawaii has a very predictable snap count. They run from the same snap count most all the time.
Second down 5 at the 40. And Chang, never to run for his life, and throws it away. Aloha Stadium, windswept. And for a time, very somnolent place until Hawaii finally jump-started the offense midway in the second quarter. Bill Curry, David Doy, and Alex Flanagan. Dave Barnett. This has turned into a game, a real shootout. Michigan State over 400 yards at halftime. Timmy Chang started just 9 of 19. He's now 19 of 34 for 278. And Drew Stanton from Michigan State has almost matched him yard for yard. He's 14 for 19, 242 yards. Spartans have run for 200. That's their big edge, as expected. Chang over the middle, dropped. Very uncharacteristic. Owens at the 45.
Yep, and Chang got exactly what he wanted. It was man coverage with a free safety, and Owens just never does what you just saw him do. This is a flat-out drop from it with a great throw, David.
And how about the movement in the pocket, the way Timmy Chang is sliding on that last play, slid to the left to create some room, a seam to throw the ball. I mean, that is a beautifully thrown football by Chang.
So Kurt Milne on the punt. Look, both punters are doing pretty well against this incredible swirling wind. Shabai upended at the 25. 41-yarder off the foot of Milne. It's hard to drive more than a mile or two on the coast of Oahu without a scene just like this.
Capital One mascot, true love challenge.
Don't miss 6 straight days of great college football. Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN and ESPN2.
On Saturday, December 11th, college football's tradition of excellence rewards this season's most outstanding player. The 2004 Heisman Trophy presentation, Saturday, December 11th at 8.
What is insurance? It's being there without you knowing we're there. Being one step ahead and ready for the unexpected. You may never need us, but isn't it nice to know that when you do, we're even closer than you think? Island Insurance, always here to help.
Party in style with 7-Eleven's great party platters. There are 3 sushi platters, 3 noodle platters, a musubi platter, shrimp cocktail platter, chicken and beef katsu platter, karaage mochiko chicken platter, mochi platter, dessert platter, and pastry platter. Plus fresh baked pies, available on Oahu only. And all 2-liter Mountain Dew and Sierra Mist flavors along with Pepsi Holiday Spice are on special at $1.49. Plan your party with 7-Eleven. Oh, now.
Chad Owens, despite the drop on the last series, 8 catches, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns. He may have a shot at the single game record for Hawaii, which is 285 receiving yards by Ashley Lally 3 years ago against Air Force.
Would have had a better shot if he made that last catch.
Yep. Inside handoff for Teague. And about a yard, and we send it down to Alex Flanagan.
Hey, Dave, well, I told you guys just before the half that John L. Smith has encouraged Clifton Ryan to step up, to be more of a leader throughout the season. Well, of course, Clifton Ryan ejected from this game, but he's still on the sidelines, and John L. is turning to him for some help on the sidelines. He just came over to him, said to him, hey, get everyone going. Go out there. Get everyone fired up. Go, go. He kind of pushed him, said, go get the guys fired up. Still looking for Clifton to be a vocal leader on the sidelines. And Clifton told me yesterday, Dave, that John L. has said to him, I want you to be an extension of me.
He says that is one kid who, unlike so many who just want to blend in, is not afraid of getting on some of his peers. Just a sophomore. They expect a lot of leadership and a lot of tackles out of Clifton for the next 2 years, but he was ejected in the first half for a fight on an extra point, and is in a position where that's really all he can do, as Alex is reported, do what John L. Smith asked of him and then try and keep his teammates' heads in the game.
And a Hawaii player, Jeremy Inferraro, was also ejected. Now Sean Poole, the starting right offensive tackle for Michigan State, is being taken off the field. He's walking under his own steam, but they are headed to the locker room.
Jones sent Inferraro home. Kind of hard for John L. Smith to send Ryan home at this point.
Stanton gets it off quickly against the blitz, and it's Matt Trennan up the sideline at the 40, a first down and a gain of 13, as Sean Poole, this recently named first team All Big Ten, heads to the locker room. And now Stephon Wheeler is down. That's the other tackle. Wow. Michigan State has had the ejection. They've had a couple of limp-offs. They just saw Sean Poole head to the locker room, and he may be followed quickly by Stephon Wheeler. 72. Middle of your screen.
Yeah, his own guy rolled up his leg. That's Gordon Nabilski, who came in for Sean Poole.
Most talented offensive lineman they have. He is 330 on a 6'5" frame. He went 370 in high school in Passaic, New Jersey. So as Wheeler's 10-2, we have a break. 8:35 to go in the third quarter.
This holiday, discover the magic at Radio Shack and wrap up the latest in digital and electronic gifts. Capture all the fun of the season with this 4-megapixel Kodak digital camera printer bundle. Only $349.99 after rebate. For the poker player on your list, here's a sure bet. Radio Shack has the electronic Texas Hold'em game. Only $49.99. Just 2 of the unique gift ideas you'll find right now, right in your neighborhood.
Only at Radio Shack. Woo!
Silver Star, high-performance headlights from Sylvania. See the world in a new light.
Meet the straight line intersect. Just stick, and it automatically levels 3 laser lines for perfectly square results. So tame the tiles, sharpshoot the shelves, and conquer the collage. Intersect, another advanced electronic tool from Straight Line.
And they're off. Gray Ambition breaking well. Quick Sandy comes out hopping. It's Quick Sandy, and here comes... What the... Diagaze is stuck at the gate with no jockey.
Timex Perpetual Calendar with perfect date-keeping technology.
That's what the camera folks see through their viewfinders. And hanging loose down there is John. Spiffy in his leg. And right where he can catch all 50 miles an hour worth of gales on the floor of Aloha Stadium. Jeremy Scott took the pass at the line of scrimmage, headed upfield, got 8 or 9 yards before Abe Elamimian brings him down. Jeremy, the brother of Gary Scott, Michigan State's 4th all-time leading wide receiver from the late 90s.
Drew Stanton, that looks like an easy ball, just a quick throw outside, but watch, it's a front pocket catch. Gets the ball right out on the front number, and when you deliver the ball in that type of shape out to the perimeter, you give your offensive wideouts and running backs an opportunity to advance the football.
Stanton with the fake and the keep, and should have the first. He'll have it by about the length of the ball near midfield.
Defensive strategy for Hawaii has changed. George Lumpkin, having been ripped right before the half, has come with a man coverage package, 8-man front, getting somebody in every gap. Run down blitzes is what it's called, and there's a price you pay. They're one-on-one outside,
And that's why you get the throws on first down. I would expect Michigan State to continue that.
Michigan State runs the ball the way they've run the ball at times tonight. You got to take your chances.
First and 10 off the play fake. Stanton connecting with a Game Shabai, and he'll be close for another first down, and he'll have the first down at the 40 of the Warriors.
And Bill, the Spartans, they're looking at what's going out on the field. They're checking out Hawaii's defensive front, and 8 men, 9 men in the box. Play action is a pretty good call.
It's a great call. I'm really impressed with the game Dave Baldwin is calling for John L. Smith and the Spartans.
So the basketball score just flowed by. Michigan State losing big to George Washington in very un-Tom Izzo fashion, 96-83. So the football team carrying the banner and carrying it well tonight. A flag down in the middle of the field, another one thrown from the sideline as Stanton keeps from 9 yards.
We might get a couple holds here.
Hawaii yet to be penalized. Michigan State 11 for 79 yards.
And last week Northwestern was penalized 13 times and Hawaii 3. So that causes coaches to get suspicious. You see that quizzical look on John L.'s face. How many times can you do this to us?
Well, here is the breakdown. 5 procedures, 3 holding, 1 illegal block. That's just the offense. Defense has had 2 offsides, 2 personal fouls. Special team had an unsportsmanlike, of course, on Clifton Ryan's ejection.
Well, John L. may have an argument on one of the holds, but not both of the holds on that call.
Well, they'd be around 600 total yards if there weren't all the mark-offs. Option pitch. Caught at the line of scrimmage. Jason Teague as Chad Campanui stretches the play out and finishes it off. A career special teams specialist contributing as a senior on the outside linebacker spot.
And Michigan State's had a lot of success with planned runs by the quarterback, option plays. Hawaii's done a nice job stringing out the option and not letting Stanton get loose on the perimeter.
Hawaii's just saying you're not going to ram it down our throat running anymore. He's going to make them throw it.
4 wide, and DeAndre Cobb with the pitch. And to give on the reverse to Aaron Alexander. A wobbler in the wind, and it should have been intercepted by Leonard Peters. How did he drop that one? Mercy.
Well, Aaron Alexander, number 10, Dave, the last time you and I did a game with Michigan State, he was the quarterback. So he can throw, although he didn't demonstrate his prowess on this one. This is a duck, and it was just thrown up for whomever might want to try to catch it, and Peters wasn't prepared to do so.
That
did not look good on that ball, David.
Hawaii might have needed a fair catch in the secondary on that play. Alexander's got to get that ball up about 4 seconds early, and not the greatest call in the world with 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Leonard Peters has 4 interceptions. I wonder if any of them were as easy as that one should have been. Stanton, incomplete, intended for Shabai. And thanks to another flurry of flags against Michigan State, Hawaii holds on 4th and 20. They'll kick.
How many times have we seen favored teams come into Hawaii, play against this team, look like they have control of the football game, and then things start to turn? Hawaii just 1 score away from tying this football game.
4 touchdown returns for Owens. That's the best way to avoid a 5th occurring. The nation's leading punter, Brandon Fields, showing that he can handle the directional duties as well. Well, last night here, Kamehameha School took on Lelehua High School for Hawaii's Division I High School Football Championship. And after trailing 7-0 at halftime, the Warriors outscored the Mules 28-0 in the second half. They'll take home their first state title since 1974. Kamehameha 28, Lelehua 7.
That's a good-looking back running down that sideline. It looked like he had speed.
All at at stake tonight. A bowl bid, and Chang keeping for 9 yards. Hawaii must win to avoid a 6-6 finish and get the last remaining spot for the postseason. That would be against UAB here on Christmas Eve in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl.
Well, last week, Timmy Chang took a hit near the sideline against Northwestern all the way into the bench area. He had a big cut on his arm. We were throwing the ball yesterday, and he said, yeah, that was courtesy of a Northwestern linebacker.
Well, that was legal. That was a legal push there. Ronald Stanley did the right thing. He had to push him out of bounds.
On 2nd down and 1, it's Kali'ikipi easily picking up the first down. Let's get an injury update. But Alex Flanagan, what do you know?
Hey, Dave, well, at least one of Michigan State's offensive tackles will not return. Trainers are telling me they think Stephon Wheeler has a sprained knee. He will not go back into the game. Meanwhile, right tackle Sean Poole is suffering from leg cramps. You guys saw him go into the locker room. They're telling me he's questionable. He may be able to return to this game, Dave.
Both tackles out for Michigan State. And Hawaii with a first down at their 32. The middle, he's got Owens, finally spots him, and Owens not pushed out. Poor tackling by the Spartans cost them at least 20 extra yards.
How about Chad Owens? Number 29, Greg Cooper, had him hemmed up on the sideline and came up with nothing.
Owens has done a great job of finding seams in the defense. I mean, this guy is a slot back deluxe. The quickness, reading the defense, and I'll tell you what, Timmy Chang is making some great plays moving in the pocket, throwing that ball on the run. He placed that right on the numbers.
39 yards. Owens now at 233 receiving yards on 9 catches. Kali'ikipi with the very delicately tossed middle screen, 5 more yards. What a night for Owens.
Yeah, they call him Mighty Mouse. And in the run and shoot, the slot back positions are so important. Last week, 5 touchdowns, 4 by air. He's had a field day tonight, getting in the seams. Here's a second touchdown catch. Look at the hands. Owens has really had a game tonight, Bill.
Can you say Wayne Cravett?
Boy, he looks a lot like Cravett.
He's just like Cravett. I think he may be faster.
He's 52 yards away from Ashley Lilly's single-game Warrior record. Chang on 2nd down. Really great protection again. Now Chase fires on the run at the 10-yard line. Caught. Hang it on for dear life. Britton Komine.
Now, if you wonder how these things happen, you don't have to wonder very long. This comes from thousands and thousands of repetitions. When you watch Hawaii practice, this is what they do over and over and over. They adjust to the quarterback's location, they catch tough balls, and they do it forever.
Roderick Maples, 17, gets the worst of this contact, slow getting up.
Well, that's a beautiful play by Komine on the sideline, getting the left hand, or left foot down. And he's not the only one fired up in this stadium. Chang, another great job of throwing the ball on the move. I mean, we were told he doesn't throw it well on the move, Bill.
Just inside the 10, 1st and goal. To the end zone, touchdown, Owens, his 3rd of the night. If this is the finale, if they don't win and get the bowl bid, Chang and Owens are going out with some memories, aren't they?
Same mismatch they've had most of the night. They caught him in man coverage again. 36, Eric Smith simply cannot run. He's a strong safety, cannot run with Chad Owens.
From 21 back, Justin Ayat ties it with a flag. this the first penalty against Hawaii? It is.
It's a big one, too. They're going to have to re-kick.
Chad Owens now 10 catches, 242 yards.
You walk that thing back 15 yards, and all of a sudden in this wind, it becomes very problematic.
Tony Akpan guilty of holding, but what a look at this one again. The third touchdown catch of the night by Owens.
Oh, what great footwork in the pocket by Chang. The ball comes out in a hurry. That is a beautiful ball. Owens working from the slot. The quickness of Owens as a slot back. I mean, he set up a move to the post, took it back outside.
Love you guys.
It's a good thing he didn't drop that one. Really might have hammered him.
More to come, he said. He's now got 14 touchdown catches on the year. Half of them have come against Big Ten competition in the last 2 weeks. This time the flag before the ball can even be snapped.
Yep, Hawaii moved again.
Number 70. 5-yard penalty.
Coach, this could be the difference in the football game.
Tala Acera.
Now, Timmy Chang is in a zone right now. He is making some big-time throws in this football game, and I know he's thrown for over 16,000 yards, but I'm sure if you talk to Tim after this football game, he'd tell you this is about as good as he can throw it.
This is now a 35-yard extra point facing Justin Ayat. And it's blocked. And Michigan State keeps the 1-point lead. In a game like this, a Hawaii team that had not been guilty of a penalty while Michigan State had rolled up 12 marches 15 yards on back-to-back penalties, and they still trail 28-27.
Great penetration inside. What a great job by Vickerson. He's been a thorn in the side of Hawaii all night long. Look at him just rip through that gap between the right guard. It's the big gap between the right guard and the right tackle. He got a piece of it. See, it's rough in there in the pit, David.
Yeah, I didn't like it in there. I tried to get back away from the center as quick as I could, Bill. I know that's an important special teams play there, but unless Michigan State gets another quarterback in the game to start lining up with Owens, at 1 point, it won't be much of a factor. I mean, he is threatening this defense in many different ways on his routes.
Going out with the best game of his career. How many people can say that?
Don't forget Gomene with the great catch down here on the sideline. He's not the only guy. This is where they get you on the run with this offense. That's why they're never out of a football game.
Owens now 43 yards away from the single-game record. He'll probably get that on their next possession, maybe on their next play. Sunday night, Reese Davis, Trev Alberts, Mark May, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit breaking down all the bowl games, including the BCS matchups on the College Game Day Bowl Selection Special, presented by Outback Steakhouse, 6 Eastern, 1 Hawaii time. And again, our BCS expert at ESPN, Brad Edwards, projecting that based on Cal's 26-16 struggle but victory at Southern Miss, he projects Texas will pass Cal, needing 3 voters in the AP poll to change their mind to jump the Golden Bears for the 4th spot, which guarantees a BCS bid. Brad Edwards rarely misses on anything involving the BCS. Teague for a loss, and that, along with the victories by USC and Oklahoma today, the headline in the BCS scramble that, again, our ESPN projection will have Texas and not Cal taking on Michigan in the Rose Bowl.
Well, Texas fans better hope that that projection isn't similar to the exit polls in elections.
Oh, you liked that one. You enjoyed that, didn't you?
I did enjoy that.
They were only 13 thousandths of a point behind Cal to begin with, so they didn't have to make up much, and our projection is that in winning by just 10, Cal will lose that slim margin margin. Stanton on the keeper. Back to the original line. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Well, Southern Miss is a top 25 team the whole year. I mean, how can that not be an impressive victory for Cal to go in and win by more than a touchdown? Now, I don't understand that.
Well, there was a block PAT return for 2 that turned that game. And
we got a player down.
Southern Miss probably really hung longer than that 10-point margin finally indicates. And Daryl Tautufi, defensive lineman, is the injured Warrior. Well, Bill, a year ago we were talking about Oklahoma's upset defeat in the Big 12 championship game by Kansas State, throwing everything awry. That in fact knocked Texas out of another BCS bid. They would have gone to the Fiesta. Kansas State took that. And we're also talking about the fact that the system was going to prevent the #1 team in both polls last year as this year, USC, from playing for the national championship. At least that won't be the case this year.
No, but an Auburn team that has done the unbelievable, go all the way through the SEC and win convincingly in the SEC championship game, looks as if going to be deprived of the chance to play in the national championship game, and I would have thought that to be impossible. In fact, Tuberville has thought it was impossible.
Well, they talk about the BCS system being a sound system and matching up #1, #2, and I can't see how anybody could argue that Auburn doesn't deserve to have a shot at the national title. I'd be devastated if I was one of those Auburn team members or coaches or fans. I don't think it's fair.
Well, the thing is, that was guaranteed to happen. There was guaranteed going to be somebody left out as long as there were all the unbeatens, and Boise State also unbeaten but left out. So there was no way around it, even in the old system. In any system except for a playoff, which is nowhere near happening than it's ever been, apparently, someone was going to be left out of the party, and in this case happens to be Auburn. It's happened Penn State more often than they can remember.
Well, I've been around football a long time, and I've been in every kind of system, and somebody is always left out.
Yeah,
I played on a Baltimore Colt team that went through the NFL season and lost 1 game all year and did not make the playoffs. So it happens.
Well, Bill, it doesn't happen anymore in the NFL.
3rd down and 10, Stanton. Avoids pressure, needs the 30, and he got it with a foot to spare. What did his coach say? He said he runs like a drunken sailor.
He looks like a drunken sailor when he runs, but then he said this word. He said he is great. He has great running ability, and we just saw it there. He makes the running game go. He also makes the passing game go just with his grip. That's presence and awareness. George Lumpkin up there, what do you do to stop this guy? Stoned him for 2 straight plays, and he runs by everybody.
In the first half, Michigan State had 403 total yards, only 84 allowed by Lumpkin's group here in the second half. So they made some adjustments that have worked. Teague works his way through a tackle, picks up 5 hard-earned yards. Let's go down to Alex.
Hey, you guys. Well, George Lumpkin told us yesterday how worried he was about Drew Stanton. He said that his running ability can demoralize a defense. He said, you think you've got him, you think you have him covered, and then he takes off, runs for 15 yards. Lumpkin calls him a running back who doesn't ever fear getting hurt. He says he's the best they've seen.
And plays like that would be a big reason. Past the original line of scrimmage, and now 2nd down and 6, and this time it's DeAndre Cobb who has the first at the 42.
Really poor tackling that time. Again, the defensive call was exactly what the doctor ordered. You got no play. You shouldn't be able to just turn and hand off, especially without a lead back, when every gap is occupied. But just DeAndre Cobb ran right through tacklers, and if he can do that, then Michigan State will reassume control of this football game.
Over 100 now at 117 yards on 14 carries, Cobb. Stanton, 8 carries, 51 yards. He's thrown for 272. Almost losing his footing is Cobb. Makes a nice cut off the outside foot, and now is in great pain, reaching and grabbing his left shoulder in midfield. DeAndre Cobb having a whale of a night. Now 124 yards. after picking up 7 to the 50. And the Michigan State training staff has had a night they'd love to forget.
Man, I'll say, I said in the first half, the way the game was going was a nightmare for the Hawaii staff. But here in the second half, the trainers' trips out onto the field is a nightmare for the coaching staff and the team. Yeah, he landed on that left shoulder with a bunch of weight on top of about 600 pounds coming down. You land directly on the shoulder and it separates or is bruised or something.
Spartans have lost both starting tackles, Stephon Wheeler, Sean Poole, and now, at least for the moment, they've lost DeAndre Cobb. 2nd and 3, Stanton looking deep for Jeremy Scott, in and out of his hands at the 10.
That ball has got to be doing something really funny down in that end zone. Maybe the swirl, you can see all the paper blowing around, but they're having trouble hemming the ball up. It's like watching some of the left fielders we saw in the World Series this year.
Well, the problem is this ball's late. Stan's going to fake the option play. You got to get the ball up 2 counts before he does on this. I mean, these receivers on the perimeter are fast, and they're going to get down the field on you. You're throwing the ball in this wind as a quarterback. You got to get the ball up earlier.
Poole is back in at right tackle. 3rd and 3. Running out of room with the marker down. The throw is caught by Terry Love at the 35, but we'll wait for the indication, which should be holding.
It is. They've already indicated it.
This is going to negate a super play by Drew Stanton. I mean, Stanton was ready to go out of bounds, threw the ball back across his body.
Yeah, and he got something on it. You're not supposed to be able to do that.
Holding on the offense. Under 20. 10 yards from the previous spot.
If you're counting, that is 13 penalties on Michigan State. 2 against Hawaii.
Bear in mind, this is a Michigan State team that was very, very good in the penalty area during the season. Less than 4 a game.
Now we're going to have some Michigan State coaches and backers look at those numbers and scratch their head. Maybe more than scratch their head.
Maybe bang it against the wall. So instead of 1st and 10 at the 35 of Hawaii, how about a 3rd and 13 at their own 40? Rolling left, turning back, looking right. Right where he was for the catch, it's Jeremy Scott again at the 35, and this time there are no flags. 1st down, Spartans, 25 yards.
Now this time Stanton got set and drove the ball through the wind.
This is a long throw, David.
It is a long throw, and look at the footwork. They sell the rollout to the left. We take a look at the receiver ISO. Jeremy Scott driving up the field. We talked about Owens' work at slot back, but Scott working out of the slot has had a big night.
That for Stanton gets him just a shade under 300 passing yards. 18 to 25 for 296. He has rushed for 51. A little swing pass for Shabai, and the Warriors have that gobbled up.
When you go man-to-man, and you got all those people in the box, Elimimian and all the other corners are by themselves. That was a very alert and a quick break and a nice tackle in the open field.
And Bill, and offensively, I think when you see that man-to-man coverage on the outside, you try to penalize a defense with a ball that's vertical down the football field.
A 21-point Spartan lead is a 1-point lead thanks only to a blocked extra point as we go to the 4th.
I consider myself smart.
In the know.
Practical.
Practical.
So when I wanted a new SUV,
I did my homework. I found the perfect one.
Suzuki XL7. Tons of standard features. Tons of standard features.
I like the V6. V6. I like the V6.
Seat 7.
Seat 7. And it comes with peace of mind.
Because it comes with America's #1 warranty.
It's family-friendly SUV.
That's big.
That's big on adventure. Now that's smart.
That's smart.
XL7.
XL7.
This holiday season, give that special someone on your list something they can't wait to use. Grab all your gifts and a tree to put them under. You can at the Home Depot. Hurry in. The exclusive Dremel 220-piece kit is now $29.99. A Ryobi 12-volt drill kit with stud sensor and 26-bit set is $59.97. Nobody has more know-how to help make your holiday dollars work harder. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Great seats. Just one more thing to love about Outback, where you can enjoy our golden boomerang shrimp and our taste bud thriller salmon griller. Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
That for the kids?
Yeah, I just got them some sweaters.
I just got us all on the Verizon Wireless Family Share Plan with N. That way they can talk to their friends all they want. Good luck with that.
Good luck with this.
Sign up for the Family Share Plan and the whole family can make unlimited in-calls to each other and any other Verizon Wireless customer from within the America's Choice coverage area. Plus, buy one LG VX3200 for $19.99 and get up to 3 free.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
At CDW, account managers help you choose the IT products right for you. So we read a lot of product manuals.
Open.
They're great. My husband likes spy novels. Give me a modular access router manual any day. Then Mama Bear routes the frame directly to the switch port. I love the way this one ends.
For the answers you need on the products you want, count on CDW for the right technology right away.
Well, with 55 points and 914 yards of total offense under our belts, welcome to the fourth quarter. With Bill Curry, David Norrie, Alex Flanagan, Dave Barnett, and Aloha Stadium in Honolulu on a second down and 11. We begin the fourth with a toss over the middle off the hand of Teague and incomplete. And it'll be 3rd and 11 for Drew Stanton and the Michigan State offense, responsible for 530 of those 914 combined total yards.
Sean Poole's back on the field, number 79, so he's gotten through his cramps, and that's real good news for the offense for Michigan State.
Drew Stanton was begging for a holding call from the officials after that last play. Didn't get one.
Well, then he'll probably get one if he wants it badly enough. Was he nice and polite when he asked?
Yeah, he asked for it about 7 or 8 times.
Cobb on the sprint draw. It's about half what he needed, and now at the 32, we may see a 4th down try. No, we're going to see Rayner for the field goal, our Yamaha game track. Chad Owens, 242 yards, career high, and within 43 yards of a single game Hawaii receiving record. 7 touchdown catches over the last 2 weeks against Big Ten defenses. The blocked extra point by Kevin Vickerson is the margin right now for Michigan State. And the all-time Spartan scoring leader, Dave Rayner, excellent candidate for the Groza Award, about to try a 49-yarder. His best is 53. He has plenty of leg on this one and is good.
Wow. That thing's good from 60. He boomed it. Hawaii did not try to pressure, and I suppose they just assumed that there would be some sort of fake, certainly the risk of a fake, so they played for the fake.
The strong leg of senior Rayner makes it a 4-point Michigan State.
This is Greg. Remember we talked about him? I think he likes me.
Ow! Cover your nose, you're terrifying him.
Tell the gang how you lost your virginity to Isabel. He was 19, a late bloomer. We were relieved.
Listen, don't let Moses go in there. They have a cat.
No! Jason, don't do it. Moses! Meet the Fockers.
The cat can flush.
Rated PG-13. Starts December 22nd.
I wanted popcorn chicken. I wanted crispy strips.
I wanted original recipe.
The KFC Variety Bucket, a 3-in-1 combo of KFC favorites, all for just $9.99.
Chicken Capital USA.
And they're off. Gray ambition Bichen breaking well. Quick Sandy comes out hopping. It's Quick Sandy, and here comes... What the... Diagaze is stuck at the gate with no jockey.
Timex Perpetual Calendar with perfect date-keeping technology.
My brother. He may be the famous Kringle.
David!
But he's always had help. I could never compete. Well, now, I've got some helpers of my own. And they don't smell like reindeer.
Well, he's been good. Big screen good or plasma good?
Big screen good. There's only one Kris Kringle. For the rest of us, there's Best Buy.
This is titanium. Strong, long-lasting, durable, and only Remington brings it to you in the all-new titanium shaving system. Designed for closeness, comfort, and to clean itself automatically. Any way you slice it, it's extraordinary. Shave after shave. Remington Titanium. It could just make all other shavers obsolete. And for her, the Remington Smooth and Silky, America's #1 women's brand.
Big Ten scoring leader Dave Rayner, maybe the most powerful leg in college football, just proved it again with a 49-yarder to make it 31-27 Michigan State, and then blocked PAT, a 35-yard effort after 2 penalties against Hawaii. Looming ever larger, Warriors now must have a touchdown, not just a field goal. 55 seconds gone in the fourth quarter. And now the powerful leg puts it 4 yards beyond the end line. Down to Alex Flanagan.
Well, Dave, John L. Smith was very clear that this was a business trip, but he did arrange one visit for his team to go see a very important memorial. Yesterday, Michigan State players visited the USS Arizona Memorial, and they even got to meet 2 Pearl Harbor survivors. Now, he thought that a trip, John L. said, he thought that a trip to Hawaii would be incomplete without a history lesson at Pearl Harbor. The players were very excited about the visit. Matt Trannon told me yesterday that one thing that he learned is that he had no idea that oil still leaked from the wreckage. He said that it was very educational and very emotional to meet and talk to the 2 veterans, Dave.
And everyone I've ever talked to who made that trip on that tour says exactly the same thing. It's impossible not to be moved by the Arizona Memorial. Gerald Welch spinning for a couple extra yards after the catch. And not quite enough for the first. It'll be 2nd and 1.
Well, Dave, I've made a visit to the memorial, and when you arrive at the memorial, you're instructed to almost be completely silent, and I think it even adds to the emotion that Alex Flanagan was talking about. One of the, truly huge events in our nation's history, and really one of the neatest visits in Hawaii that I've ever been a part of.
A lot more than the first down by Brewster, the former walk-on at Tennessee, finally captured by David Herron Jr. after 16 yards on a 2nd and 1. Brewster, outgoing senior. Chang, likewise. Owens, likewise. Also receivers Komine, Welch. A lot of talent has to be replaced.
Nice job by sophomore Hercules Satele, pulling from his left guard spot and leading up inside and clearing the way.
For 26 Hawaii seniors, they are either ending their career tonight if they lose, or they'll end it on Christmas Eve against UAB. Back to work, Chad Owens, ever closer to the single-game Hawaii record, to the 14 more yards.
All night long, Owens has been threatening this defense vertically. Seam routes down the middle, couple touchdowns. Post corner route for a touchdown. And as a defense, you find yourself backing off. Then he tucks it down, sits down, and creates some easy throws for Tim Chang.
Owens also has the record for single game catches. That's 14. He's close to that. 257 on his 11 catches tonight. Chang looks for him again. Caught and dropped. A hair away from 1st and goal as he had Greg Cooper beaten. That's 2 drops. Very un-Chad Owens-like.
Well, I talked to Mouse Davis yesterday, the consultant, former coach for June Jones at Portland State, and he did say that Owens had a couple drops this year. in football games, from time to time, Owens will make the unexpected drop.
Maybe that's not really a drop.
No,
Maybe you give Cooper credit there.
Greg Cooper did a good job. He got his hand over and got a piece of that ball. I think Chad would have pulled it in had Cooper not batted it out.
Another great throw by Chang.
Chang at 370 yards now. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Welch keeps his balance, and he should have first down yardage at the 30. He was a yard short, refused to go down. 5'7", 216-pound Gerald Welch.
Yeah, when you look at him in practice, you think now he ought to be either a kicker, a holder, or a little fullback. And he's out there playing wide receiver. Watch this, 215 pounds of solid muscle and balance.
I saw that 5'7" on the roster. I thought, that's got to be a typo. Surely he's 6'7".
No, he's 5'7". Actually, he's probably about 5'5". He's a heck of an athlete.
He's got him just inside the 30, down by 4, under 12 minutes to go. Ikipi, 280 pounds worth, and he powers his way for 8 or 9 into the arms of David Heron Jr.
I told you Kali'i Ikipi was a load, running up in there behind Derek Fa'avi, Brendan Eaton, Uriah Monoa. Big guys for Hawaii. Doing better in the running game this half.
Yeah, with Chad Owens threatening from that slot back position, linebackers starting to take notice. And then all of a sudden, Hawaii springs a draw play on you. It creates some nice running room.
Brewster back in the backfield, 3 wides on the left side. Chang with the play clock right at 0. Gets the handoff to Brewster. Flag down. Brewster, touchdown. If it stands, Hawaii has its first lead.
I don't think this is going to stand.
Holding. Just their 3rd penalty of the night. The other 2 were costly. They cost Hawaii 1 point. This holding Marcon Carson 6. Phil Kaufman. Michigan State has had 10 more penalties than Hawaii. They've overcome theirs. Now it's 7 points off the board because of 3 mark-offs on the Warriors. And the flag thrown right behind Kaufman. Instead of a touchdown and a lead, 2nd and 11 from the 31. One of those outs that either bounce or sail on Chang, intended for Owens. 3rd and 11. What is it, David, about that throw that's so difficult for him?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's hard to predict which way the wind is blowing from up in the press box, and Timmy Chang and Drew Stanton are fighting some swirling conditions down on the field. There are going to be some angles on some throws that are going to be tougher than other angles, and a couple times he's thrown it wide out to the left here and hasn't had the same results he's had down the field on some other tougher throws.
Slow start. He's erased the memory of it. 26 of 44, 380. Steps away from the sack and will keep after the pump fake. Timmy Chang slides at the 10. A flag thrown way across the field in front of the near sideline.
And thrown very late.
Thrown by the line judge. He could not have been farther away from that play. But he's sure he saw something. Sideline warning.
Inconsequential. Just a warning. The move that Timmy Chang puts on Kevin Vickerson in the backfield here. This is pure Harry Houdini. I mean, Vickerson is their best pass rusher, and then he turns it on up the sidelines. Look at the hit. The hits are getting nasty, Bill.
Yeah, that was legal, though.
I would like this. Drew Stanton. Timmy Chang shows some legs. 1st and goal at the 9. Brewster. For 2. Off from behind by Heron.
Heck of a play by Heron. Heron coming off the backside, number 41, the weak side linebacker, left his feet and dove. Otherwise, that goes in the end zone. Hard-fought, physical football game going on right here on this beautiful island.
Most coaches that come over here say, this is our bowl game. This is how we're going to approach it. John L. Smith said just the opposite, but there won't be many more entertaining or offensive-minded bowl games than this one. We're around 1,000 combined yards. 534 for Michigan State, 468 for Hawaii, total yardage.
It looked like to me that Hawaii wasn't lined up right. They didn't have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Yep, that's what it was. It's unbelievable that you can get into the red zone and have veteran wide receivers, and they didn't line up properly. Had trips to the wide side of the field, and all 3 of them are off the ball, and one of them's got to be up.
We talked about some of the play calling for Michigan State tonight, but how about June Jones really working a nice mix of draw plays and passing offense? I mean, he's fighting for a bowl spot here. This Hawaii team, they come out with a victory. They're going to play another game here on the island.
2nd and goal. Warriors at the 11. Chang looking middle, guns it into traffic for Owens, and there to make the play on it, Eric Smith. 3rd and goal.
He was just a shade late with that throw. Both safeties got there that time. The very safeties that have struggled so, Harmon and Smith, converged and were able to bat the ball. I couldn't tell which one of them got a hand on it.
Watching Tim Chang on film this season, I didn't have an idea on film of the arm strength. He really tries to fit the ball into some tight spaces, and a lot of times he's gotten away with it tonight, Bill.
But he's just got that wonderful knack.
Block PAT looming so big again here. Hawaii must get a touchdown. And they might get it right here. Jason Rivers stretches. Does he get the pylon? Owens over there to be helpful and make the touchdown signal himself, but no official has joined him as of yet. That was a 3rd and goal at the 11, and they will say Rivers is inches shy, beating Ashton Watson.
June Jones is going to go here. Watch Chang in the time, and he throws this ball well before Rivers comes out of his break.
Good call by the official. He's on the ground. The football's on the ground, inches short of the goal line. That's a tough call and a good call.
Timeout called by Michigan State. When we come back, we'll have 4th and goal, inches away from their first lead of the night. June Jones, Hawaii Warriors, playing for a bowl bid.
It's Green Apple gone silver. Introducing Bacardi Silver Low Carb Green Apple Premium Malt Beverage. 4.5 grams of carbs and 94 calories. Never tasted so good. Bacardi Silver. Flavoring your night.
Wendy's founder Dave Thomas knew that everyone needed a little excitement now and then. So Wendy's delicious Wild Mountain combos with Colby Jack cheese, bacon, and our own hot and smoky pepper sauce are back. So go wild at Wendy's. Dave's way.
Get the ESPN Full Court College Basketball pay-per-view package with more than 450 of the best games all season long. To order, call your local cable company, DirecTV.
Tomorrow is the first day of the rest of your life. It's a day filled with opportunities, with a chance to start something great or finish something worthwhile. If you've been thinking about buying a home, growing your business, or maybe retiring early, make tomorrow the day you do something about it. Come to First Hawaiian Bank and discover why the power of yes is the power of possibilities.
I'm a primary care doctor. I take care of the kids from the time they're born until they graduate from high school. I really, really love what I do. When I was in 5th grade, I wrote this essay that what you want to be, I want to be a pediatrician, and I wish I could find that right now because I'd like to hang that on my wall, you know, and say this is what I've always wanted to be since I was little.
ESPN2's College Football Saturday Prime Time.
after the Michigan State timeout. As you would expect, the 280-pounder West Kelly Keefe checks into the backfield on what will be 4th and goal from maybe a foot away, probably not quite a foot away. And Hawaii has called time.
ESPN2's College Football Saturday Primetime. Brought to you by Wendy's Wild Mountain Chicken and Bacon Cheeseburger. It's better here.
View from Diamond Head, looking over Waikiki and downtown Honolulu. Well, June Jones had a look at Michigan State's defensive alignment. Called timeout of his own. Gotta think the only logical thing to do, not that that means they'll do it, is hand it to Kelly Keefe.
Yeah, like you, the way you insinuated, by the way you phrased your sentence there, with June Jones calling the plays, it's almost never what you think it's going to be, which is one of the reasons for his genius in this offensive thinking. Well, but I would sure hand it to him, or I'd run a sneak with Chang.
David, we talked about the history of the run and shoot, and historically, the strike against it has been the inability to run it over in situations like this, but not many have had a 280-pounder to hand it to.
Some of the linemen came out and tried to rev up the crowd. It worked. And then the back started saying, and Timmy started saying, calm down, be quiet.
4th and goal, Chang. Second effort on the quarterback sneak. Touchdown. Hawaii has its first lead. £4 less than Kelly Keefe. Timmy Chang nevertheless gets the job done.
Yeah, that was shaky because the center, Derek Faavi, got knocked right back in his lap. He really struggled to control the football. Michigan State nose guard, and I don't know who they had lined up at the nose, smoked the center big time. That ball almost went on the ground.
Yeah, that play looked very ugly early. Chang did not look like he was going to score. Made a great move to his right. Second effort, broke the plane.
Ayat has had 5 missed PATs. That's a big one. That forces Michigan State to tie with a field goal, not lead with the field goal. One more look. Timmy Chang almost fumbles the snap before he recovers, dives, and scores. And for the first time tonight, Michigan State trails.
Here's to the beginning, a chance to carve out a new path. But this time will be different. This is the year we leave our mark. This is the game we play together. This is our season. The colors change, the fires burn, and the possibilities are endless. The NCAA Championships on ESPN.
The Sharp Aquos Liquid Crystal Television. Enhanced sound is the answer.
Every night in home workshops, there are people creating. These are the people Dremel makes tools for, like the new 400 Series XPR with new high-performance attachments and greater control. The Dremel XPR turns spare time into time well spent.
New Pepsi Holiday Spice is now on its way.
Whoops. Let's back her up, boys.
A blend of cola and spice. It'll be here just for the holidays.
No, the other way.
If it gets here at all.
Timmy Chang, with the quarterback sneak from a foot out, has made it 34-31 Hawaii. A Warrior team that trailed 21-0 in the second quarter has come all the way back and now must rely on one of the lowest rated defenses in the country for the last 9 minutes and 22 seconds.
What's he doing? Throwing the football. because of this cold weather. It's down to 78, you know.
Well, that's without the wind chill. As Chang was scoring, what was June Jones doing? Well, it's almost as if he couldn't bear to look.
I don't think he wanted to watch.
The play's going on. Chang is scoring, and Jones is either so confident he doesn't have to look, or he can't bear to look.
No, some coaches are superstitious. My wife Carolyn's superstitious. She would never watch a long snap, either for me or our son. I guess it's because maybe I didn't do too well.
Well, the trouble that Chang had with that snap and how close Hawaii came to not scoring on that play, I mean, that was as ugly a quarterback sneak as you'll ever want to see. I'm not sure June Jones wants to see that on film.
This kick is going to have to happen again. Offsides Hawaii. So they may have a chance to return this one, get better field position as Chang keeps the arm loose near 400 passing yards.
I mean, Bill, you were right. The center just got blown up right back into Chang. Chang almost fumbled the snap and still picked his way to the goal line.
I don't understand why more teams don't do that to the center, because you cannot get down, you cannot bend your arms and get down in a really low stance, because you have to stay in the same position in order to hike the ball. When you pull that ball up and that guy hits you right in the chin or the top of his head, you're helpless.
The way he's talking, I think of the snap over there, is he maybe shaken up?
I think he got dinged a bit.
Sure enough, the penalty means Cobb has a shot at a return. Maybe a big one. Cobb may take it all the way. Another killer penalty against Hawaii. And another quick response by Michigan State.
Mouse Davis is the special teams coach. Nobody knows more about football than Mouse, but the basics have come unglued here.
This offsides Michigan State. Unbelievable. Well, on the block, illegal block, Michigan State, but it's coming back. John L. Smith beside himself. 14th penalty against the Spartans, wiping out a 98-yard kickoff return.
Now, Cobb takes it right up the gut. Couple missed tackles. I mean, he's been sensational. And the flag came all the way over on the opposite side of the field. The flag came late, and Cobb looked like he pulled up late on that run.
Well, I saw the block over on the other side of the field. I couldn't tell who it was, but a Michigan State player had a Hawaii player and had knocked him down and got him on the ground, and apparently that was the illegal block. It was 40 yards away from the play. Well, and that's what so often happens, and it's why you teach your guys, if you're out of the play, do not block behind the runner.
Well, they're going to be talking about the officials in East Lansing for years to come.
Yeah, but they wouldn't even have gotten a chance if the officials hadn't called Hawaii offside.
It's a 49-yard, 6-point penalty in effect. Spartans start with the short toss. Terry Love juggled it and did not bring it in. Second and 10.
Excuse me, David, but you got to remember that Hawaii's had a touchdown call back because of a penalty.
No, I understand.
Hawaii was required to kick over again that gave them a chance to return that ball. So at worst, they got midfield field position, whereas they would have started on the 20 otherwise.
Bill, I'm talking about the disparity in number of penalties between the teams.
Right.
Not that specific call.
Teague kicks his way 7 yards. And 3rd and 3 coming from Michigan State.
I mean, you're going to get some
believe that penalties even out over the long haul.
Now,
and it never does any good to complain about them. I'm not saying I never did that.
Meantime, return to the scene, and Timmy Chang has apparently giving the Hawaii training staff cause for concern. They've been with him every second since his touchdown. Not keeping loose just to keep the arm loose, making sure all the parts still work. 3rd and 3, Stanton. Keep here all the way, and he fools nobody. A loss of 2. Ho'ohuli and Moy, the linebackers, are there to drop Drew Stanton at the 44. Let's look again at the kickoff. And the 98-yard return wiped out. Where was the penalty?
Well, I'm going to show you. Let's go ahead and roll it, and we'll see. Okay, right here is where there's a white shirt on the back of a black shirt, and the black shirt's going on the ground. It's fully 30, 40 yards away from the action.
I would say that's a bit sketchy right there.
Late getting onto the field, Michigan State. We saw DORTCH. And a fake punt. Blown up in their face for the Spartans. Nowhere to go for Dave Rayner, who was trying to fake from midfield. Looked upfield, rolled, and had nowhere to go.
Now, this game is turning into a nightmare for John L. Smith.
Gerald Totothi and Mel Purcell, number 95 and number 98, tracked him down.
This was not a very well-conceived play.
It's just well covered. Nice job. Nice job by the Hawaii safe punt unit. When you're the head coach and you call one of those, and if it doesn't work, you have to take the responsibility.
So the Warriors take over at their own 49-yard line with a 3-point lead and 7:16 to play. Ikipi inside the 45 at the 43, a gain of 8. There are provisions, as TYRELL DORTCH is injured, there are provisions for flags to be picked up when passes are uncatchable. Shouldn't there be a provision where an illegal block happens so far away from the kick return it has absolutely nothing to do with the return itself, that that flag should be picked up?
That wasn't
no. Here's the reason you can't do that.
It wasn't conclusive anyway.
I saw it in real action. He was on his back and drove him in the ground. The reason you can't do that is because guys would just take cheap shots if you didn't penalize them because they happen to be on the other side of the field.
Well, personal foul is one thing. Cheap shot ought to be flagged. Owens first down. Chad Owens maybe on a record-setting night in his final regular season game for the University of Hawaii. This bedeviling Greg Cooper finally fights him down after a 10-yard pickup and another first.
Chad Owens is about as good a route runner as I've seen this year in college football. I mean, you get a kid with a two-way go, setting up in the slot position. What just a luxury for a quarterback like Timmy Chang, who can deliver the ball on the money and on time.
5'9", 175. When he was in high school, he did 25 bench presses with 225. Now, that's pretty good for a big lineman in college. So he's a powerful little guy.
That's 12 catches, 267 yards, 18 for the record. Kali'i Kipi, one of the few times unable to get his head of steam going before he's run down from behind by David Herron Jr.
Well, Kali'i Kipi tried to get fancy. He tried to dance in the hole a little bit. Big man, just explode. You had a little crease.
I didn't see much of a crease there.
Well, make one. Run over something. Don't give him a leg and take it away.
I'll tell you, with that body, not easy to run through small creases, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it's better. He makes them. He makes creases.
Call it a loss of 2. Hawaii averages 95 yards per game, only 109th in the country. They're right at 95. Yet, it was the ground game that gave them the go-ahead score. Now with more to the crease. A lot more. Kali'i Kipi to the 15.
But Kali'i Kipi, Bill, serving notice that he can run on the outside as well. How about that burst of speed from a 280-pounder?
Great job by number 67, Phil Kaufman, who pulls from his left guard spot. Nice job. He logs or hooks in the outside man. In this case, 59, Clifford Dukes, got logged inside, and Kali'i Kipi bounced it outside and turned it on.
Turned it on for 20. And it's 1st and 10. Spartan 15, 4:47 and counting. Hawaii owning its only lead of the game with a great chance now to add to it. Michigan State swarming before Khalid Keefe can get to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Michigan State had control of this football game, a 14-point lead. And now John L. Smith's team's faced with a situation where they don't come up with a stop here. It's going to be tough to win this football game.
Hawaii 6-5. Must win for them to get to the postseason. If they don't hang on tonight, this is it. The 26 seniors, including the all-time NCAA career passing leader Timmy Chang. Under 4 minutes. Chang to the end zone and overthrows Owens. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 11.
That's a smart play by Chang. You've got a 3-point lead in your back pocket. If you're going to make a throw in the end zone, make sure you see the danger. And if it isn't there, throw the football away.
3rd and 11. 3 helps. 3 means Michigan State's got to get 7. They can't, with 3:49 to go, one of the lowest ranked defenses in the country, assume that they could hold Michigan State without a touchdown once they get it back. 6 out of 12 on 3rd downs. Once behind 21-0. Owens! Another touchdown! The 4th of the night from Chang. The 4th catch for a touchdown tonight for Owens.
And you can chalk that one up to great protection by the big guys up front. A double stunt by Michigan State, and nobody gets close. Nice pocket. Chang's able to survey the field, step up and make his throw.
Yeah, Owens sets it up with a move to the middle of the field. Gets his eyes back to the passer, and once again, Chang, great job of sliding to his left in the pocket and delivering the football.
Ayat makes it 41-31. That gets Chad Owens 2 yards away from the Hawaii single game record. Not that he's thinking about that right now. Hawaii by 10.
Oh, my back.
Need some help?
Yeah.
Try my Bayer Back and Body.
Thanks, hon.
It's Bayer Aspirin plus a special pain relief booster. It works right where it hurts. Bayer Back and Body. Get moving again. Pain-free.
Let's see how new Right Guard Extreme Cool Spray keeps you cool under the most extreme conditions. Cool Spray keeps you cool and dry, no matter what's going down. Yeah. Get extreme. Get Right Guard.
This holiday, discover the magic at Radio Shack and pay no interest for 18 months on a $299 minimum purchase amount financed when you shop with your Radio Shack Answers Plus credit card. Enjoy no interest for 18 months on a new digital camera, digital camcorder, LCD TV, electronic air purifier, even the new Apple iPod from HP. Pay no interest for 18 months when you use your Answers Plus credit card. It's a special holiday deal right in your neighborhood.
Only at Radio Shack.
Such a typical performance by a Hawaii team that was just about blown off the field in the first quarter and a half. Down 21-0 before they could get Chang to Owens cranked up. Once that happened, there has been no stopping the Warriors. 27-3 is the second half score. And taking a gamble to bring this one out. COBB breaking helmet to helmet across the 40-yard line. Robbed of that 98-yard touchdown last time, obviously still brimming with confidence. Let's go down to Alex.
Well, Dave, I am joined by the executive director of the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, Jim Donovan. And Jim is anxiously awaiting to present Hawaii an invitation to your bowl on Christmas Eve. Why is it so important to you to have Hawaii in this bowl?
Well, Alex, look at these over 45,000 people just going nuts watching this exciting game. Basically, in 2001, UH was 9-3, didn't have anywhere to go, no bowl game to play in. Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, we offered them. If they're bowl eligible, they're in it, and we're very excited.
How do you sell the game? UAB Hawaii, what's the best selling point?
Well, UAB is got a great quarterback, and this is their first bowl game ever. And, of course, you can look at these fans. They come out to see us play anybody, so it'll be a great game.
All right, Jim. We hope to see you afterwards presenting that invitation.
Thank you.
Michigan State needing 2 scores, and they start with a 6-yard Matt Trannon catch, held at 3 points and 137 yards this second half after they broke out 21-0. Chang now at 416 through the air, all 4 of his touchdown passes to Owens with a career-high 283 yards on his 13 catches. Jason Teague diving across midfield and out of bounds, 48-yard line of the Warriors with a first down.
I hate to rain on the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl's best intentions, but there's plenty of time in this football game. 2 minutes, 57 seconds. Yeah, I mean, much stranger things have happened, and I wouldn't put Michigan State in the can quite yet.
Well, just look at DeAndra Cobb's statement, bringing it 3 yards out of the end zone and starting at the 40-yard line.
Stanton now over 300 passing, 21 out of 30, 306. Well, it just wouldn't be right. We didn't have a few more flags to finish off our evening.
And I'm sure Michigan State's going to be upset with the officiating, but there's the call.
On Sean Poole.
You can see it on Sean Poole. But most of these calls have been obvious. They've been movement on the part of the offensive line of Michigan State. And then there have been some really, that's the 7th procedure call, thank you, against the offensive line moving early.
15 penalties, 114 yards. Even despite that, they have 545 total. Will it be enough? Deep middle and caught. Scott inside the 30, and the Spartans on the move with still 2:50 to play. 24-yard strike from Stanton.
Clock stops, 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Michigan State still has 2 timeouts. They can score here with more than 2 minutes to go on the clock if they work quickly. Plenty of time for Michigan State.
4-man rush. Nobody near Stanton. Looks up. Plenty of room over the middle, and he keeps for about 4 yards.
That's what Hawaii's going to have to do. They're playing a basic 2 deep, 5 under zone. Everybody was covered. They didn't have anybody down the seam that time, and I don't know why they wouldn't, David.
Well, it's tough that you have to burn a timeout in that situation. One thing Stanton does not want to do is tuck it and not get to a change, because then the clock continues to roll.
Plenty of time for the Spartans with 1 timeout now and needing 2 scores.
The line between form and function just became razor thin. The Motorola Razr, only from the new Singular. The new Singular, raising the bar.
This is it.
What is this?
Introducing the full-size 5.6-liter V8 Nissan Armada.
Where are we?
Share the adventure.
Stanton keeping after the quick timeout and run out of bounds. Right at the 17. That moves the chains. That stops the clock at 2:29. 41-31 Hawaii. Michigan State in the second half has managed only a 49-yard Dave Rayner field goal.
Now, Drew Stanton in this situation wants to make sure that he throws the ball beyond the chains. He has to save that last timeout to stop the clock if they kick deep to Hawaii.
A little bit low on the delivery of the 12 intended for Jeremy Scott.
Stanton may be a little bit lucky that he didn't complete that football. They need as many ticks on the clock as they can save here because of the fact they only have 1 timeout left.
Wouldn't you be throwing it in the end zone here?
Absolutely.
David, this close. And especially if you can get them in man coverage.
Well, you don't necessarily have to throw it in the end zone, but you have to throw it down inside the 7-yard line. That's where Michigan State can gain the first down, because you either get an incomplete pass, which stops the clock, a completion stops the clock as well. You can't take a sack. Don't come down to receivers in front of the chains.
Worth noting, all the yardage, all the penalties, nobody has turned it over yet. Stanton keeping first and goal at the 2.
Man defense, all-out blitz, nobody to cover the quarterback.
And that is a gutsy call, because if Stanton doesn't get to the chains on that, they chew up another nice piece of the clock. John L. Smith relies on his quarterback to make a big play, and once again, Stanton comes through.
Teague in the backfield. Gets it on first and goal. Hammered at the 1. Keeps the legs driving. Gets inside the 1. If Hawaii's smart, they will take as long as humanly possible to unpile as we're under 2 minutes.
Don't like the call, Bill.
That was a huge play. That was a huge play just because of the seconds that tick off the clock.
Yeah, I don't like that call. You can't afford to run the ball in that play. You don't make the end zone, you lose 25 seconds at least.
Second and goal. Option pitch. Teague leaping over the corner. Touchdown. And with a minute 31 and a timeout still in the back pocket of John L. Smith, the 3rd touchdown tonight for Jason Teague.
Once again, Stanton coming out on the option, and finally, Bill, crisp execution on the option play by Stanton.
Even then, he didn't take it all the way to the inside shoulder of the end man, but he got far enough.
And I think he felt his running back had some room outside and wanted to shovel the ball out to him quickly. But with 1:31 on the clock, and assuming the extra point here, Michigan State's probably going to have to go onside.
They are.
75, 76 straight extra points for Dave Rayner. Within a field goal, and Timmy Chang, with all his thoughts now centered on running out the last minute 31 on the clock.
You know, Bill, if Michigan State has 2 timeouts here, they might want to kick deep, but with only 1 timeout, even if they stop Hawaii runs the ball 3 times, there'd be less than 30 seconds left in this football game before Michigan State would get the ball back.
You actually think under any circumstances there would an onside kick here?
Well, if you had 2 or 3 timeouts, certainly with 3 timeouts, you'd kick deep here if you trust your defense.
With 1 timeout remaining, the offense can run roughly a minute and 10 seconds off the clock.
That's right, inside 30 seconds.
That's the research done by our dear friend Homer Smith, who's spent so many years learning and teaching this very kind of thing. 1 timeout, the offense using optimal timing on the clock and running it down as far as possible with each play is able to run off a minute and 10 seconds.
But with 2 timeouts, and the point I was trying to make, with 2 timeouts, they can take the clock down inside a minute if they run 3 times and don't get a first down. And remember, Hawaii only needs a field goal to take this into overtime, and 50 seconds is plenty of time from any spot on the field with the clock stopping on first downs in college football to move it down into field goal position.
But they don't have 2 timeouts.
That's right.
Dave Rayner, a great kicker with a powerful leg, but right now needs finesse and touch with the hands team out there from Michigan State.
He was superb in practice at this very kind of kick.
Looks for the high hop. And it is loose and covered by Hawaii with a flag down, however. Recovered at the 42. But a marker down at the 37. And getting up off the pile, ball in hand. C.J. Allen Jones.
It's a linebacker with good hands, because that was not an easy ball to come up with.
Encroachment on the kicking team. 5 yards will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Well, even if Michigan State recovers it, flag is on them.
Yeah, the timeout that Michigan State used on that last drive, very costly. And Michigan State got the bounce they wanted, just couldn't come up with the football.
Hawaii needs to make a first down here. They're not going to be able to kneel on the ball. They don't want to give Michigan State the football at the 40-yard line with 20 seconds left on the clock.
Well, they put themselves in position to play for a bowl bid tonight by beating Northwestern 49-41. Kali'i keeping on the carry on first down, and at 1:25 remaining, Michigan State must spend that final timeout.
We saw this exact situation in the USC-UCLA game earlier today. USC not quite with the ability to bleed the clock down to 0, so they had to continue to run the football, and UCLA came up with a fumble.
We wondered when we came on tonight if the career of Timmy Chang would ride off into the sunset. And if they had lost tonight, it would in fact be his finale. College football's all-time leading passer would see his career end short of a bowl bid. When it was 21-0 Michigan State, that looked like a real possibility, but Chang and Chad Owens, in their final regular season appearance at Aloha Stadium, have combined to make sure that, barring a disaster or a Spartan miracle, that will not be the case. And they're a minute 25 away from, again, playing in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl that was created just for them, just to avoid any more 9-win seasons with no bowl in the picture for Warrior football.
Hard to believe that Timmy Chang and Chad Owens could follow up their game against Northwestern last week with bigger numbers. I mean, they had monster numbers last week against Northwestern. But I think they've outdone themselves again.
Now, I want to tell you something about June Jones. He'll throw the ball in this situation, because a lot of these little throws are June Jones' version of the running game. Now, I'm not saying he will do it. I'm just saying, I'm not guaranteeing he's going to do it, but he has done it. We've seen him do it. We were here last year, Dave.
Yep.
It's a very similar situation. Yep. He'll throw the football.
If he throws
If you threw it here, I think it's the only way you can lose a football game. I think you're inviting disaster. You cannot throw the football in this situation with no timeouts left for Michigan State.
And off again, Kali'i Keefe to the 34. Well, if Jones decides to have Chang throw it to Owens, he's one catch away from tying his own single game record of 14. He's 2 yards away from tying Ashley Lilly's single game record of 285 yards. But the clock down at 1 minute now, and on 3rd and 7, you would think you almost have to throw now. Or do you? We'll find out. They can snap the ball at 37 seconds.
No, they're going to snap the ball here, and then they're going to go ahead and let the clock tick some more. No way in the world would you ever consider throwing the ball.
Passing set, David.
No way.
Handoff. You're right. Lee keeping 4 yards shy of the first, and the clock at 32 seconds. We'll see when they start the game clock. The play clock at 25 with 27 seconds on the game clock. But the Warriors already swarming onto the field to celebrate.
The officials are very generous with the time allocation before they wound the clock, but that's the way they've run it all night.
Hawaii will see Timmy Chang and Chad Owens work their magic one more time on Christmas Eve. Here in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, they will take on Alabama-Birmingham. They had to win their last 2 over Big Ten opponents. And they handled Northwestern 49-41 to make this the play-in game in effect. And from 21-0 down, they knock off Michigan State 41-38. And for the presentation, we go down to Alex Flanagan.
All right, Dave, well, I'm with Executive Director of the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, Jim Donovan. And Jim, you have a special presentation to make to June Jones and his Hawaii Warriors.
June, what a great game. What a great way to finish the season. On behalf of the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, I'd like to extend an invitation for you to play in the 2004 Sheraton Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve.
What an exciting deal. Thanks, Jimmy. Unbelievable win for our program. These kids, I can't tell you, we've gotten killed 2 times on ESPN, and to beat 2 Big Ten teams at the end, I mean, I can't say enough how proud I am of them.
All right, June, congratulations. Dave?
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, buddy.
Couldn't get a more typical effort out of a June Jones team. No total is too much for them to overcome, and college football's all-time passer Tonight throws for 416 yards, 4 touchdowns, all to Chad Owens. And 41-38 is our final. For Bill Curry, David Norrie, Alex Flanagan, Dave Barnett, aloha, now to NFL's greatest moments.